Hi there, welcome to a new concept for the channel where you, the viewer, gets to come onto the show and tell me, Houston, we have a problem. I want to hear from you, your community, and the issues you have with the United Kingdom currently. And the only thing I ask you to do is start a conversation with, Houston, we have a problem. When you see the description on YouTube, all you have to do is scroll down the description, click on that link, it'll bring you straight into the studio. From there, I'll invite you up. You start the conversation with Houston, we have a problem. And we'll see what we can do to help you, your community, and your problems going forward. You never know, it might be my next journey lengthening bread to the UK to come to your community and cover your issues. So get live, get involved. Houston, we have a problem. Hi there, welcome to the latest Craig Houston Talks To Live with Basil of X fame. And just to remind you all, if you just didn't see that little trailer that started, the idea of this show is to have a phone-in show. So to do that, if you're watching on X, go into my last post, you'll see the link there. If you're watching on YouTube, look at the description, there's a link there. I'll bring you into the green room and we'll bring you up and have your say. And all you need to do is start by saying, Houston, we have a problem. Tell me what your problems are, what your concerns are in the United Kingdom or further afield, and let's have a chat about it. So, Basil, no spoke to you for a while. How are you?
Aye, I'm been all right, mate. I believe you've been away for a week, which must be nice. But for the rest of us, we've been watching the disintegration of the UK continue, including some interesting news that's happened today.
Aye, it was great actually having a week away where I didn't need to make some videos. I put one out, which was more of a history video than a political video. So it was most relaxing, but I kind of missed it. A few days before the end of the holiday, I was like itching to get back out making videos. So didn't have much time yesterday to do anything, and headed over to Falkirk late last night. There was a protest over there, and managed to get some coverage of that. It seems to have been received quite well today, and I've got another wee job out and about tomorrow at my cuff that hopefully I can get a couple of hours, because I've got a wee interesting one that I want to do tomorrow. So what have I missed news-wise over the last 7-8 days since I've been on my sabbatical?
Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to ask me. Well, obviously today the big one was Labour's announced that they are reducing the voting age down to 16, which I think that's monumental, right? When you consider it's been set at 18 since, well, we've had full universal suffrage for men and women since 1945, I believe. And obviously it was set at 18 for men after World War One. And, I think it was 30 for women back then. But the point being that it's been like this for a very long time, and they've decided now to lower it down. Now, obviously, that follows what happened in Scotland and Wales, where they said 16-year-olds could vote. There's also, if Labour are willing to change the laws around how old you can be when you vote, who's to say they won't change the laws around who can vote, which we've spoke about before.
Yeah, well, we've got it already in Scotland. We've already got 16-year-olds vote in the Scottish Parliament elections. I believe it's the same for the Welsh Senate. I'm not sure where the Northern Ireland Assembly are with ages. But the other thing that I do know Scotland and Wales have is basically, as soon as you arrive, doesn't matter how you get here, we give you a vote.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but if we followed suit with Wales and Scotland on the age, I'd be far away from doing the same with the eligibility to vote for new arrivals.
Well, I said the same thing, and I put a tweet out about it earlier, and obviously people were giving their opinion back, and basically they were saying this is going to happen. They think that obviously if they're going to vote, they're going to change the voting age to 16-year-olds, and the argument for that they give is that, look, if you're paying taxes, you should be able to vote. Now, actually, babies can pay taxes. If a baby appears in acting as an acting career, if you earn over the threshold, you have to pay a tax. There's no rules around who can and can't pay tax based on age, right? It's a load of rubbish what they say about that, right? So, and again, 16-year-olds, many of them don't work and don't pay tax, right? They're in education still, right? Some of them are still in school, right? And yet they can vote. So the tax thing is a load of rubbish, right? What they're trying to say is that they're trying to justify this and by saying, well, they pay taxes, so why can't they vote? Well, in that case, well, migrants, they might pay taxes. Why can't they vote? And that's what they're trying to justify it with. I actually put out a tweet earlier as well, which is getting a load of feedback, positive and negative, but I said that I think the voting age should be raised to 25. I said my opinion on the voting age of this country. The voting age should be 25 with certain stipulations. I said the right to vote was given to 18-year-olds when 18-year-olds were adults. They experienced so much more of life at a much younger age than we do in the modern world. Nowadays, so many 18-year-olds haven't looked after a child or built anything or even worked. You can be well into your 20s in this country and have never lived a day of your life where someone hasn't looked after you, be it your parents, the education system, or the state. Becoming an adult isn't only about age, it's also about actual life experiences and being responsible for not just yourself, but the well-being of others and wider society. When we become adults and look back, we never say, the moment I grew up was when I turned 18. We often say it was a particular life experience. That was the moment we did a lot of growing up, whether it be a job or other major moment in our lives. I believe if you're a parent, if you're serving in the armed forces, or if you've worked in a full-time job for a year, then you've earned the right to vote. But anybody else, I believe, should have to wait until they're 25 to ensure the people who are voting in this country have a true understanding and appreciation for what voting actually means.
Well, I think that's fair to say. And some of the objections we got up here when it was changed up here, the SNP quickly followed that up by telling the judiciary and the courts to be lenient with people when under 25, when they were sentencing them, because they hadn't fully developed as adults. You think, well, hang on a minute, I think it was a year apart. Like a year ago, you told us that you wanted them to vote, and now you're saying, well, you've not matured emotionally as an adult until you're 25 when you're a criminal. So how can you justify giving people the vote at 7 years before that?
By the way, Williams just put a great comment there. Scottish Government guidelines for the judicial system must take into account those under 25 as their brains aren't fully developed. You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right, William. And yeah, exactly. If they're saying that you're a child until you're 25, therefore you can't be judged the same when you've committed a crime, why are you allowed to vote? It makes no sense.
Bonkers. So Labour, they've been kind of they seem determined to cut their own majority by themselves.
Yes.
Is that 5 now in a week we've had that have either lost it or wrapped it or whatever?
But by the way, we've got more independents than ever now in Parliament. So since the establishment of the party system, so since universal suffrage, right, in the modern era, we've got more independents than ever in the history of the Parliament right now. So if I just quickly look at the makeup of Parliament, last time I checked, I think it was 17 independents, and now it's on 20 now. So 20 independents. Labour are down to 399. They've actually went below the 400 threshold because he had 411, I think, at one point. So 20 independents in Parliament. I mean, that means independents are the fourth biggest party, independents, right? Now, obviously, those independents are made up of lots of different people. We've got the Gaza independents, there's 4 of them. Jeremy Corbyn, obviously, he's got a separate issue, but was in the Labour Party. A load of Labour people got kicked out at the start of the year because they rebelled over the winter fuel payments, and they got kicked out for that. And then recently, obviously, Reform lost 2. They lost their MPs, James McMurdoch, which I'm sure we'll get onto him, and Rupert Law. But Labour this week have lost 5 because 2 separate issues. One was, Diane Abbott today. So Diane Abbott, the gift that keeps on giving, many would say. But Diane Abbott, she, about 2 years ago, wrote a piece in an article saying that basically white people, Irish people, travellers, and also Jewish people don't experience racism. She said to be racist, to really experience racism, you've got to be black. And she got suspended from the Labour Party for saying that. She then apologised, said, I was taken out. She did the usual, I didn't mean it that way, and maybe I was out of context or whatever. And they let her back in. And then she did an interview with the BBC this week where they said, remember when you said that 2 years ago? Do you regret saying that now? And she said, no, I meant every word. And then they've suspended her again for the same thing. So she's gone.
Aye, but she's crazy.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, and
A
stupid.
normal person would, even if they were a bad normal person, they would go, "Oh, hold on a minute. If I say I did, then I'll contradict what I said when I get back into the party. So I'll just say, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I do regret it. It was terrible. I shouldn't have done it, and I still regret it. But no, she's right. Well, or was it a setup? Was it deliberate? Did she maybe want me to do it? I don't know. She's maybe super clever, eh? And there's I thought, Diane Abbott being super clever.
Well, you've got to remember that Jeremy Corbyn is setting up this party with Zara Sultana, this real far left party. So I think Diane Abbott and many of the ones that have been kicked out of Labour are shoo-ins for joining that party. And I don't believe Keir Starmer misses them. I think he's been looking for excuses to get rid of many of them anyway, because he sees them as not what he would describe as Labour people. He sees them as, socialist, communist, whatever kind of hard left term you want to attribute to it. The other four, however, I would say they are Labour people. To me, those people are people who have views very similar to Keir Starmer. So the other four, that you won't have heard of them, they're kind of backbenchers, but they've been kicked out because they were doing the dirty behind Keir's back. So Keir Starmer's got upcoming welfare cuts because he wants to show the public that he's serious about getting the public purse in order. Yet he also, he also spends a fortune on net zero nonsense and all the rest of it. So really, he's not that keen on getting the public purse in order. Anyway, he's going to do welfare cuts. And so there's four MPs, Labour MPs went behind his back, and they went and lobbied other Labour MPs and said, listen, when this vote comes in, we all vote against it and we defeat Keir Starmer and we make him look terrible, and then he's got to listen to us more. Somebody went to Keir and said, by the way, these people are going behind your back and all the rest of it, and they're trying to get people to turn on you and so on. And so he's kicked them out as a result. They've lost the whip. To be fair, I would take the whip off them as well. At the end of the day, whatever your decision is, you are the Prime Minister and you're supposed to keep control of your party, right? They're supposed to be loyal to you in a certain respect, especially if you're in government, because you don't want to give mixed signals and say people aren't on side and all the rest of it. He needs to command his MPs to follow him. But ultimately, they have got a fair point, right? The Labour Party, an awful lot of those MPs came into this party to give more money to benefit people, i.e. people who are on benefits, and all the rest of it. Now, we can argue about whether we think that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the Labour Party generally think that's a good thing. So they're sat there going, why is Keir Starmer removing benefits from, as they would see it, these poor downtrodden people or whatever? And that's what they feel like they did was the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Aye, it's fun times, isn't it? And then we've got reform. Now, I know that when I was going on holiday, we had the McMurdoch thing. That was a reform thing at the time. And then since I've come back, we've had, I thought it was bonkers, right? The Afghan thing became public knowledge. And Tice et al. Were all jumping in with 2 feet going, this is terrible, this is ridiculous. And then lo and behold, some guy with a mouse profile photo on YouTube started putting screenshots of Tice 3-4 years ago, telling us how we must take all these Afghans because they've done us so proud. And you're like, all right, here you go again with the double standards. So, I'm no... I don't think for a minute would have been no reform madness between the Murdoch thing when I went on holiday and the Tice Afghan thing when I came back. So what did I miss in the middle? Was there any more circus acts for them?
Yeah, so obviously, James McMurdoch, he resigned the whip himself from reform. Now, when that happens in Parliament, what it actually means is they were told, kind of like when you hear someone's resigned from a company, like from a big company, they were basically told, listen, we're going to fire you, or you can resign yourself. And he resigned the whip. And the reason he says he did it is because this new information's come out, which, by the way, had been around for over a year. They all knew about it, and James knew they knew about it, right? So there's no hiding anything there, right? Everybody knew what had gone on with the COVID thing. Now, look, I don't know if James broke the law or anything. He claims nothing went wrong. He did everything above board, and I've got no reason to disbelieve him. So let's wait and see what the investigation says. But the point is, I think Reform don't like having James McMurdoch around. And the reason they don't like having him around is because James McMurdoch wasn't supposed to win his seat. He was one of those ones who slipped through the net in terms of Reform's vetting process that they didn't really have at the last election. He was a paper candidate anyway. He wasn't even campaigning, and he won his seat by just a few votes. He didn't think he was going to win. They didn't think he was going to win, and yet he did win. And when he came into Parliament, Nigel Farage is like, who's this? And they find out in his past, he did 20 years ago, he did assault his girlfriend, I believe it was, or ex-girlfriend at the time, a woman anyway. And, he got an assault charge for that. And he says it was the biggest regret of his life and all the rest of it. And he's tried to fix himself ever since. But the point is, it does hang around like a bad smell. And unfortunately for Nigel, when he would go on radio shows and TV shows and he would say, this Tory MP or this Labour MP, aren't they terrible? Aren't they horrible people or whatever? They would say, what about your MP? You've got an MP there who had a past history of violence and all the rest of it. And sure enough, it was embarrassing for Nigel. So I think he got to a point where he went, I'm not really a fan of James. And then obviously what happened subsequently with the Rupert Law thing, well, it was really creepy. Just like the mafia, they all had to dirty themselves up. All of the Reform MPs had to do something to show that they're not a fan of Rupert Law. And Richard Tice did it by saying, the dementia thing. Well, maybe he has, I don't know, sort of thing. Obviously, Lee Anderson signed the letter that Zia Youssef made about Rupert Law. Obviously, Sarah Porchin wasn't there at the time. Nigel, obviously, he's the leader, so he doesn't have to do anything. But James McMurdoch appeared on Talk TV and was asked, what do you think of Rupert Law? And he was there to say, I think Rupert Law's terrible, or whatever he's done is wrong, and all the rest of it. But he didn't. What he ended up doing was saying, I actually think Rupert Law's a nice guy. And you know what? I hope this gets resolved. And that's what he said. And I think from that moment on, you do not go against the boss in Reform. And they basically said he needs to go at some point. So from what I hear from the people I know in Reform, they believe that they're clearing house now to get rid of him, because they're basically going, listen, they're sick of the drama themselves. They're sick of every month there's something going on with Reform where they get in the papers for the wrong reason or they're in the media for the wrong reason. So they're sat there going, well, we need to fix this. So let's get clean house, get rid of James McMurdoch, get rid of everybody we want rid of, clean everything up. And then they're hoping for the next 4 years, it'll be plain sailing to election day. And good luck to them. It won't be. No, it won't be. The problem is not James McMurdoch at Reform. The problem is the use of Nigel Farage. Yeah.
I think they're more fundamental on that. Right, we've got our first caller. I don't know how to term this actually when you're doing it and it's not a phone, but you know what I'm saying. And it's somebody that's been here before. So hi there, Monty. How are you?
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, go on, my friend.
So gentlemen, lovely to see you again. The last time I was on your channel, I want to start with updates and corrections, because I wrongly accredited the scarcity of oil to Andrew Carnegie, and it's actually J.D. Rockefeller. So if any of your fans out there are actually away Googling all this stuff, then I apologise. I might have been sending them down a rabbit hole, right?
Did you have a drink in you that night?
I was a bit excited to be online and talking to all your viewers. There was that many people. It was a wee bit starstruck, you know?
Okay.
I will get back onto that subject at a later date, but that's not about this bugging me tonight, right?
Right.
The bit about is bugging me tonight is the story that you did about the Orange Walk, right?
Yes.
Love or hate the Orange Walk. I really don't.
No, let me just. No, you're doing it again. You're telling falsies, right? The video wasn't about the Orange Walk. The video was about King William and the Battle of the Boyne.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm being the baddie. The one with the air rifle.
That's the one.
That was definitely about the Orange Walk. That one. So you're right. Sorry,
that's the one. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Love or hate the Orange Walk, I really don't care. Right. That's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. Right. I'm concerned about if somebody managed to make their way into Glasgow city centre with a weapon, right, and managed to fire that weapon off 4 times. Now, I've seen this, the tractors that you're on your video saying, it was only 4, yada, 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 right? And I seen it on my own social media with a particular newspaper group. I will not mention their names, but they're predominantly Glasgow, certainly Scotland, and and certainly support, I suppose, different political views than you and I have. Hint, no, I mean, allegedly, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't described. They were letting their comments on, and the comments were things like, "Oh, it's only 4," and "No, I was at it," and all the rest of it. I thought, wait a minute, right? That girl Connolly that's in jail right now for 3.5 years for perhaps making an inappropriate tweet, right? And we've got 2 things happening in Glasgow. One, we've got somebody getting in there with a live weapon, and other people, lots and lots and lots of people on social media coming out with these hate crime speech, which is why that girl's in jail right now, right?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, well, it kind of lets you know that there is a 2-tier, not lots of things, not just judiciary, but 2-tier society, 2-tier policing, 2-tier government at Hollywood. Because if you can imagine, there was other things happened the same weekend in Glasgow. There was some Muslim celebration in the streets where there was, I think it was all guys and they were beating their chests. I don't know what it was all about, right? But I seen things about it. Now, can you imagine the uproar by likes of Hamza Yousaf and all that? They'd all turned up in Holyrood that Monday to tell us what that was. And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen. But what I'm saying is if it's an outcry with people with different faiths celebrating different things, then it should be an outcry regardless. And what I will tell you, Monty, is there was 2 people commented on, it was either on the video itself or when I shared it on Twitter, or maybe one in each actually, who said to me, it wasn't 4. It was only 4 that needed medical attention. Other people get hit. And it was just like, aye. So, and by the way, they were the 2 people were adamant there was women and children who get hit, along with guys. But there was no mention of that in any of the mainstream coverage. Now, to be fair, some of the mainstream did cover it, as you've alluded to, which surprised me. But when that was people who were there telling me an even worse version, then it's actually even more scary.
Quite right.
For the grace of God, nobody get hurt, you know. But yeah, it's when you talk about these things, it's weird how many people you could, without even, before you read their comments, if you look at their timeline on Twitter, you look at their profile photo, their name, or they maybe have an H between the word boy would be, you know, and you go, aye. So you kind of know what they're going to say, and you go, is that we're in society where you can't grasp the enormity of what's just happened because of your prejudice against certain other people?
Absolutely correct.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, mate.
Absolutely correct. And the thing that gives me the fear, you know, I cut about Glasgow City Centre all the time. I work there and whatnot. And what surprises me is all these, you know, people rallies. And they are rallies, you know. The one that you did in George Square when the sun was shining was absolutely fantastic, you know. And it scares me to think that just because you're a pro-unionist and you're pro the UK, that you can't voice your opinion because you're just going to get attacked from all angles. Now, I see people walking about all this, no disrespect to Palestine and all the rest of it, that's another conversation for another night, right? But all these pro-protesters, they literally just turn up at every protest that's pro-UK. Now, there's a protest going on at this weekend in Glasgow. I don't know what it is, right? I can't seem to get any word on it. And immediately I saw on this same newspaper brand, it shall not be mentioned, so don't want to get sued, didn't report on what that protest was. They only reported on the counter-protest against the far-right protest. Now, I don't know if it's a far-right protest or no. You just know that there's a protest going on, which is clearly pro-British, and it's immediately deemed as far-right. And the important point here is that it's the counter-protest. And that's exactly what happened with the Strike Britain thing. They did exactly the same tactic with their journalism. making it out that we don't care what that protest is all about. It's just far right. That's it. And then here's the counter protest, and let's cheer them on.
Monty, I'll share a story with you, but again, I'll not go into names for particular reason. I've got a bit of respect for the person. I don't want to mention the news outlet because I don't have respect for them, and that'll become evident when I tell you the story. But when we were at that one last summer that you mentioned, and I was talking at that, after the event, I noticed a journalist who I'd known for 10 years plus. He'd covered a couple of stories that I was involved in 10 years ago. I'd spoken to him on the phone a few times. I think I maybe bumped into him once, but a lot of times on the phone. And there he was there. And he came up and he shook my hand. He said, "I enjoyed your speech, Craig. You done well." And I said, "What did you think of the protest and the rally?" And he went, "It was very well, good turnout. Well, behaviour was great. And the speeches were not in any way negative. It was, racist and stuff like that." Thanks so much. And he mentioned a number that he felt was at this protest. So I couldn't wait to see his article on it the following day in a Sunday outlet. And it had no correlation to the conversation I had with the guy at the time. And I'm not daft enough to go, he's an arse because he's wrote not a totally different, but the numbers were less. It was a word in terminology that was evident in the way he was talking to me. And I was like, I'm more prepared to accept it was his newspaper and the editor. No, this has to be worded in that. And no, you can't say there was, X, I think like maybe 800 or something, and it was 400 by the time I hit the paper. And there's all this nonsense. So, yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is, I suppose. So, listen, thanks for coming on again, mate. It's always nice to hear from you. And
absolute pleasure. I will be definitely back the next time, but the next time I will absolutely have to talk to you about my next favourite subject, which is going to be net zero. So, look forward to that. Yeah. Right, I'll do my research. Right, God, so beside enough, you know
the guy Alan coming up, and I was just about to bring him in, and he's disappeared. So, Alan, see if you're still listening. Going to just click the link again because I was a bit. Oh, he's popped. He's back in. Sorry, Alan. I'll bring you up in just a second, buddy. Sorry about what you saying there. I lost you there when I was trying to figure out what happened to Alan.
No worries. I'm just saying that's me. Do you want me to sign out, and I'll let you guys go on with Alan?
Top man. Thanks very much, mate, and thanks for doing that. It's great that you're getting up to talk because that's what this show's all about, and I know people are a wee bit nervous about doing it. So thanks for coming up the second time. We'll speak again soon, no doubt. Look forward to the net zero.
Can I do the sign out?
You what, mate?
Can I do the sign out?
Of course you can.
Thank you. Right. So unless you're one of the idiots, it's all right to take a gun into Glasgow City Centre and shoot at people. No you. But everybody else, have a great day. Cherry bye now.
He's going to get his own channel before the week's out.
I'm going to be your partner soon. I'm coming to see you. Catch you live, guys. See you later.
Take care, buddy. Cheers. Hi, Alan. How are you?
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right, Alan, what's your problem? First time caller. Great to see you here.
How are you doing, Craig? You all right?
I'm very well, buddy. Aye, very well.
Good. How are you doing, Basil? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Spot on. Loving the sunshine. Not that we'll get much in Scotland, but we're fucking getting it.
So what's your problem you want to tell us about, Alan?
Right, well, I'm one of the organisers, Stephen Rennie, that are organising this protest in Peterhead.
No, hold on, Alan. You've had far too much of your time. Tell that Stephen and that daft bird that's up there, no, he's a bar daft, right?
Hey, we're on off to Peterhead, man.
You're off your head in Peterhead.
Aye, and we're with these Bob Reid.
So what you want to tell us about it? You want to do a wee...
Right. Well, it's just a wee little rundown with a meeting with Grampian Police. We've actually been given a liaison officer, a sergeant Brady. Brady, he's brilliant, honestly, brilliant to work with. Couldn't get a better guy to work with like that. So. They've confirmed a lot of stuff that we've wanted to do. We've wanted to do quite a few things, but the local council have decided, no, that's not happening. So we've had to like cut a thing I doing and then say, right, we're doing this, we're just doing a protest and that's it. So they finally come round and it's going to go ahead on the 9th of August at 12 p.m. till 3 p.m.
Brilliant. And what were you wanting to do that you sort of can't do now?
Well, we wanted to put, because this is our first protest. I've never ever done a protest before in my life. There's never been a protest done in Peterhead. And my dad, he's 81, and he's never heard of a protest. There was strikes, but never any protests. So I thought, let's just do it. The state of the town centre is atrocious, man. Every shop is boarded up. Peterhead's dire. And it's like all the towns, Fraserburgh, all your little wee fishing coastal villages, they're all just getting run down. They're not getting looked after. And it's time somebody stood up and said, hey, come on, get a grip, you know?
Yeah.
We've got our children's future to worry about. So anyway, we wanted to put a burger van, do some face painting, and then have some music. So then the council came back to us and said we needed a permit event license. Now we looked into it, and it was going to take 2 months to get it processed and a month to get the permit. But by that time, it would be past the protest time. So we said, right, we'll just take everything off and we'll just have a protest. So that's what it is. It's just a protest now.
Aye. And are you still able to put staging up and have speakers and stuff like that?
Yes. Well, the sergeant, he actually went to his chief inspector and they actually contacted the council and says to them, look, wind your neck in. These guys are doing a peaceful protest. There's nothing wrong with what they are doing. They have the right to protest. They've dealt with us from the very start, so we can't say anything wrong. Accommodate them. So then they got a hold of us and said that they would give us the bandstand, which you usually have to pay for, but they gave us it for free. So
superb. So how's it been received up in Peterhead? What's the sort of residents and the locals, what they're saying about it?
There's been some kickbacks. There's been some people that are like, but like I say, I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for our community. Yeah, our community needs to come together. We all need to come together. Every community, every town, every city. We need to come together as one, be one, to fight the system, because it's the only way we're going to get out of this shithole that we're in. Excuse my language.
You're going to get people. But I was out in Falkirk last night, and I only got messaged that must have been about 4 o'clock or something to say there's and it was actually a friend who lives down south, and she has a friend who originally from Glasgow that lives in Falkirk now, and her friend had contacted her to say, look, I'm going to this protest tonight, can you let Craig know, because it's the sort of thing you might want to come out to. So it was quite late on by the time I heard about it, and I jumped in the car, drove through there. I was a wee bit late in getting there just because it was rush hour traffic and stuff, and I see Kev's in watching, he was raging at me because I never phoned him. I'm sorry, Kev, but just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be bothered with him.
I will. Hey, Kev, I've got a big apology to make to you, Kev. I never got you on the flyer because I didn't know if he was going to come up to Peterhead or not. I've gotten Craig on the flyer.
Apparently it is coming up. Apparently after game a lift, right? But
all right, okay.
I don't know if he'll talk or not. That's the thing. But and if you get him talking, make sure he's last, right? Because if you put him on first and then other speakers.
Well, we've got 3 hours.
If me and John, and is Stingray coming up to talk as well, Alex?
I think Alex AG Spartans, I think he's coming up as well, yeah.
So if you didn't even get any more speakers, you could get me, John and Alex 5 minutes each. That'll give 15 minutes, and then Kev could do 2 hours 45 himself.
That sounds like a plan. Huh? We'll even get him an ice cream or a sweetie for the local shop for it.
He's diabetic, mate, and his diet's all over the place. He's needing to get his blood sugar levels down. He's been a bad boy, so don't be getting him anything sugary.
All right, okay.
Just drop him a couple of tablets before you.
So, but no, hey, we're really looking forward to you coming up, Craig. Honestly.
I thought, well, you know I'm doing something the 8th of August, don't you?
Yeah.
Aye, so I think that'll be all right. I'm not planning on guilty, so I should be able to be up on the 9th.
if people are coming up, I've got to emphasise this is a peaceful protest. It's not a violent demonstration. It's a peaceful people saying what they want to say and how they feel. You know, it's not.
What I was going to say about last night was when I turned up at Falkirk, it was fantastic to see it, mate, because the numbers were great. And I was thinking about you guys when I was there. I thought if you can pull this sort of number as well, it would be fantastic. And that one, the amount of people, I put a video out about it this morning, and the amount of people have commented on it saying, oh, I live near there and I didn't know anything about it. I'm in Alloa. If I knew that, I'd be going. So that one didn't have half or anywhere near the level of publicity that you guys are getting. So it'd be great. And I see, did Tommy Robinson now share one of the posts?
Yeah, he shared the post on his X post as well. I'm now on X, I'm on Facebook, and I've just learned how to do live streaming on YouTube tonight. So
it's a good platform, and you know where I am. If you want anything put out, you want any more shout outs, and maybe even the week before.
No, but there'll be plenty of, hopefully there'll be plenty of room for everyone that's turning up. Like there's going to be a big police presence there, but they're going to be watching the other half instead of what we're doing. But they're going to be mingling in amongst our crowd as well. So
there's nothing wrong with that. And
that's what I said to the sergeant. I said, "Thank you very much. That's what we want. We want that. Even in our protesters, we want that police presence there, so people know that it's not a bad demonstration or a violent demonstration or windows getting smashed or anything like that. You know, everything's boarded up anyway, so there's nothing to smash."
It's already done. But you're expecting a counter protest. I think there's already been suggestions about that. And are the police going to set aside an area for them so that they're apart and they're away from the main body? Is that how they're going to play that one?
Yeah, well, basically, where we're having our protest, there's like a cobbled path that maybe fit 2 cars, and then the counter protesters will be at that side of the bandstand, basically, because they have to see the protest happening. We can't put them around the corner so they can't see us. They have to able to see us protesting so they can counter protest that. But they will be watching the counter protesters more than what they'll be watching us, basically.
I'm just about to try and put this. Hold on a second. It's Drummer's Corner, isn't it?
Yes, Drummer's Corner, yeah.
Right, so let's try and do this. And then I do this. Oh.
And I'll tell you that when Stephen was talking to you last time, it was one of my friends who did the Freedom of Information request form to the council to see how many asylum seekers was in Peterhead. And they came back with 306 that they knew of. This is Aberdeenshire Council. They knew that they've got 306 here. But if they wanted to find the full figure, we had to contact Mearns, which we wouldn't get no response for, or contact the Home Office. So we just left it at that. Like,
is that? Can you see your screen just now, Alan? Is that the bandstand?
Yes, that's the bandstand. It's exactly where we're having it. And see the back of that bandstand? There's a big building. That's where the counter protesters will be at. And we'll have that whole area of the bandstand.
Right, sorry, where are the counter protesters going?
Right the back of the bandstand. See the building behind the bandstand?
Aye.
They'll be standing right there, barriered off
at
there.
The corner?
No, facing the bandstand.
Like 6 feet away?
Aye, like 6 feet away, yeah. But there'll be police there watching them.
Thanks. Right, okay, buddy. Well, listen, thanks very much for popping in.
No problem.
As I say, when you want anything else, shared, shout-outs, just remind me, and maybe the week running up to it, we'll get one of you guys back on, you or Stevie or anybody else that fancies it. And
well, me, Stevie, and Marco. Marco, he owns a chipper. Big shout out to Marco Alexander. He's a dude.
Is that anywhere near this square?
No, but we can take you to him.
Me and Kev will need a bit of talk before we drive down the road.
Yeah,
And
we'll give you a black pudding supper. How's that sound?
A wee Blackfoot. I see Alex is in the room as well, mate.
Okay, right, Magic Craig, thanks for having me on, Paul.
No, thanks for coming on. As I say, I should a phone in or a call in. I don't really know what terminology to use, mate. So it wouldn't be
I call it brand new because I'm not used to it.
Aye. Hopefully you and Monty don't come up. It's kind of makes it pointless. It's just me and Basil sitting here talking nonsense.
Well, there is public toilets near the demonstration, but yeah, so
we've got a fisher and a pisher.
Aye.
So we're all done. Sorted well.
We're brilliant, sorted.
All right, mate. You take care.
All right, take care. Have fun. Right, speak later, guys.
Cheery, bye now. Cheery, bye now. So there you go, Basil. You were quiet for a while. I bet you've been busy. I bet you've been scooting about X looking for stuff to talk about. But the Peterhead thing, you've heard about it, Basil, and I take it you understand how iconic that is. That's a place that's, very rural, very away from the busy central belt in Scotland, and the fact that they're having to get protests and stuff together, to me, is just a massive statement. What's your opinion on that? Hello? Have we lost the mouse? Basil? What he's done is, he's buggered off because he heard me and Alan chatting and thought, I'm away, you'll be away getting a cup of tea or something. So anyway, I noticed on the chat, and there's that much chat, I can't find it again, but somebody suggested that there was Patriots ran over at the current and live protest down in Epping. So if anybody has any news on that, maybe jump in and I'll have a wee quick look. It's going to, Ballymena was just a start a few weeks ago. Now Epping, it's going to get worse and worse in the 3 to 4 months. A full-blown civil war could break out everywhere if there's any disorder. Epping protest, this is outrageous. Police are escorting counter-protesters into riot vans for transport. That cannot be. Hold on a minute. I'm going to need to share this. This is ridiculous. Right, so if I do that, hold on. I don't really know what's going on here, but I'll try and share this with screen share. Right, so where are we? We're here. Maximise this, do that, and turn.
Resident support, not the aggregation stuff that you do.
That I do? What's I do? Whoever this woman is, I don't know what she's here for, but she's not here to peacefully protest. I don't care what she thinks. I don't care what she thinks.
Boss, are we filling them? Boss?
If these are locals, why are they getting in a police car? Why are they getting in police cars? Why don't they just go home if they're local? Fucking idiot. These people just talk so much shit, it's unreal. Buses. They're calling them buses. They're calling them buses. Wait, can you get me a bus back to my car, please? What time's the next bus? Hunts. Show your bus passes. See you later. It's cynical. Hold on, boys. Oh, now, man. Where's Flower?
Now that, Basil, did you catch that?
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to put a post up because obviously you're talking to your guest and I saw what was going on in Epping. So I put the post up with the footage on because people have been sending me it while we've been live. And then my computer crashed. So I managed to get the post up.
Somebody would put in the comments that apparently there was some protester stroke patriot was knocked down by police. So I've just, I was like, I kind of knew when I was talking to. Shut up.
Yeah, so if you go on if anyone follows me on Twitter, it's at Basil the Great. If you type it in, the last 3 posts that I've put up are videos of police either running people over or driving dangerously with protesters. So the first one, there's a video. I don't know if you can show it.
Give me a wee second, mate. Right,
Yeah,
so many of you put up? Right, so you
3.
put up I'll pull them up on the big screen in a second. So the first one looks as if it's just similar to what we've seen there. Oh no,
so the first one, you see a protester climb on the van of the police van, and he's trying to boot the roof in, and the police are obviously losing control of the situation. But you can see they're driving dangerously around protesters. The second one is them running someone over, and then the third one you actually see the impact. Yeah,
I'll just pop these up while you're on. So here's the
Kev's
first one.
right. If anyone follows Martin Gorchie on Twitter, you'll be able to watch it live. Also, AY Audits is the one I was watching. They're both great accounts to follow.
So what's going on here? They're obviously taking the counter-protesters away in a van. Some boy's a bit upset. He's having a wee bit of a kick at it.
Yeah, and he got on the roof. I don't know if you saw that just before. Yeah.
But he's got the door open.
It's manic. I mean, just in case anyone's not aware, this is outside a migrant hotel where a girl was accosted the other night and believed, I don't know if she was raped or assaulted. I heard different accounts of it, but people have been protesting for the last few days. I know some of the Patriots of Britain people were there. I can't remember the names now. I do apologise, but yeah, the great accounts to follow. If you go and follow them on Twitter, you'll see them. So there's a few people down there who are in the Twitter communities. So yeah, this is where you see one of the guys get run over, and they just ran straight through him there, and that's when they see the crowd kick off and throw stuff at him. And then on the third video, you see the impacting a lot better, but it's got all the live stream stuff on. Yeah.
So that lad get knocked down in this video?
Yeah. But you don't see it because of the angle. But if you go to the next video, you get a better angle of it and you see it. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it skipped ahead there. I don't know what's happened there. I'll have to have a look at that. Maybe it's an error on the video or something. But if you go to the last video I put up, you'll see. Crazy.
This one here?
Yeah. So that was where he was stood in front of that thing, and then watch this. Straight through, look. Straight through him. They're not messing around. Look. You just ran him over. Look here, look. Pulling people out the road, guys. This man's just been run over.
That old guy.
Another guy got took up in the air.
Yeah. They just fucking drove into him.
Mate, they just rammed them. Straight through, look. They're not messing around.
That is mental.
Yeah, they've completely lost control of that situation. And can I just say, by the way, I mean, we are not allowed in any way to say that we encourage violence or non-peaceful protest or whatever for obvious reasons. But what I will say is that there is an incredible undercurrent of anger within the country. And if you see that protest, that's a small contained protest in Epping, right? You imagine those around the rest of the country, right? And we saw what happened last year with the Southport riots. We don't want to see violence on our streets, but the truth is the government needs to start addressing the concerns of people and why they are going out to protest in the first place, right? Little girls being attacked by migrants, and we're being told we have to take in more migrants, more hotels, and all the rest of it. This is the insanity of the United Kingdom. And when you have a government that would rather exacerbate the problem, make it worse, and encourage, basically get people angrier, and then use the full force of the law to try and silence them, well, that goes that we're in basically a police state situation, because the government are not interested in addressing the concerns of the everyday working man and woman of this country. They'd rather clamp down on them with the full fist of the law.
Well, Basil, in the last 4 weeks, Ballymena, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Falkirk, Dover, Cali, and even when I was in Croatia last week talking to British people out there, we've all got the same concern.
Yeah.
That is the level of immigration, the amount of fake asylum and illegal immigrants, safety of our kids, safety of our females, lack of housing, and the amount of people just coming in and taking jobs that they shouldn't even be working, right? And that's a wee step for a hint in what I'm going to video tomorrow. If I don't end up jumping in my car and going to Epping, because you know more than most what I'm like when I get a daft idea in my head, so I might be down there at the weekend by the looks of things. But and I've been saying this since I went to Ballymena when the stuff hit me. When society feels like that, if they've got a government and an establishment that they feel a bit of hope that they're listening, then that helps keep the pressure down a wee bit. But when you've got an establishment who call them far-right, racist, Islamophobic, fascists for having an opinion and a concern, then that doesn't alleviate that pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm not condoning, condemning or judging violence. And I'm not blaming any violence completely on the government and establishment. However, you have to apply common sense and logic and understand that if you keep telling people they're wrong by having justifiable concerns, then what do? What is the option when you feel the establishment and the government are just not listening anymore?
Yeah.
And I don't know what triggered this tonight, but when you see footage of people there to counter-demonstrate, what are you counter-demonstrating? Are you saying people are wrong to have concerns about the safety of children? Is that what's going on here? So I don't know what the counter-protests are all about, but when you see them getting treated and put in vans and driven away nicely, as if, and it looks as if with Martin's coverage, that they were told that they were bussing them out by using police vehicles, then you can understand why people get upset. I'm not justifying violence in any way, and I didn't see any violence. I seen some reaction there towards police fans, which may have been because of somebody getting hurt, or it could be just purely because they felt it was unfair that they were treating the counter-protesters differently. That remains to be seen why that triggered. But you kind of get it. Common sense would tell you. You keep telling folk you're bad because you've got concerns. Then what do? You get frustrated. That frustration can turn to anger, and anger can turn to other things that we don't want to see. But you can get where it's going.
The thing is, the police are there to make the area safe. Officially, that's what they're there for. Obviously, unofficially, we can all speculate why they're there, right? And what they're actually trying to do. And by the way, there's a lot of rumours going around on social media. I haven't seen them confirmed, so I haven't posted it. But people saying that counter-protesters to this protest were taken there in the back of police vans, right? So there's a lot of people saying
I don't know if that was them taking them or taking them away, but they were certainly in police vans. We've seen it there for us.
No, this is something else. People are saying that earlier in the day, counter-protesters were giving a lift down to the migrant thingy, basically to encourage it to kick off, right? You've got protesters on one side, counter-protesters on the other, right? So again, the police right now, a lot of people have got a lot of questions about, are the police being used as a political tool, a political arm of the government? I believe they are. I believe there's evidence to suggest they are. And I think it's been going on for a long time. But the truth of the matter is, the police, their job is to, when things get out of control, to restore order to an area, right? But the government's job is to stop these things from happening before they happen, right? So when it comes down to, this is not a protest that came out of nowhere, right? This is not random violence that's just erupted from, and nobody knows why it's happened. We've had protests in the past. We know there's going to be protests in the future. And the truth of the matter is, there is a very clear, distinct reason why there are protests. And it's because if you look at polling data, you will see that it's crazy high numbers of people do not want illegal migrants in this country. They don't want to pay for them. They don't want to house them. They don't want them in their local area. They know that they bring crime, ruthlessness, disorder, and in some cases, you get lots and lots of little girls and women who are victims of sexual violence, right? We saw what happened in Ballymena. That's going through the courts right now. Look, we don't know what happened because obviously officially they haven't decided whether they were guilty or not. But from seeing what's happened in the court so far, that little girl was dragged off the streets and into a garage where she was assaulted by a group of Romanian men, right? One of them, who is the most wanted one, the one who did the worst things to her, he fled the country immediately. So no justice for him, right? He's left the country. He's gone to Romania. Are Romania going to extradite one of their own? Probably not, right? So we'll never see him again, right? So there's no justice there. She was dragged off the street, right? This is what's going on right now in this country, right? And again, Ballymena was just one incident of millions that have happened with the grooming gangs and all the rest of it. The police know what's going on. They've covered it up. The politicians know what's going on. They've covered it up. We've seen it time and time again. Jess Phillips, right? Jess Phillips puts herself out there as this grand person who you can rely on to always protect women and girls. She was on LBC this morning talking about this very issue, and Tom Swarbrick turned round to her and said, Jess, have you seen these statistics? It goes to show, sorry, Roma, not Romanian. Look, I've seen I'm not sure, Gareth. I've seen both being said, so I'm not sure. But Jess Phillips was on Tom Swarbrick this morning, and he turned around and said, Jess, have you seen these statistics? Obviously, it shows that migrants attack women at a much higher rate than British citizens do. Is that a problem for you, Jess? And she wouldn't even turn around and say, yeah, that is a major problem. She turned around and said, you know what the problem is, Tom? Men. Now, again, if this is the person who's in charge, who's self-styled puts herself as the defender of women and girls, well, I'm sorry, she's not. She's a liar, right? And anyone who sat there denying this evidence that's in front of them are liars, and they are part of the problem. And in my opinion, they shouldn't be in Parliament. They should be in the courts, facing accusations of what they've done. That's how bad things have got in this country. That's why everyone describes this country as a tinderbox right now. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And I've got a comment here that I don't know if Gerard can maybe follow this up or even jump in and click the link, come up and have your say. It says the work you're doing investigating child safety is super important. Perhaps you could arrange more focus. I don't know what the last bit's about there, but I mean, in the last 3 weeks before my holiday, I had been in Ballymena, protests in Glasgow, and one last night in Falkirk. I'm going to Peterhead on the 8th of August. I went to Dover and Calais to identify how these people are coming over who are a big danger to our kids. I kind of don't know how I can arrange more focus, but if you come on, talk to me, tell me, educate me. I might be missing your point. You might be wanting me to arrange more focus for other people, but if you're going to let us know what you mean, Gerard, and by all means click the link button and come up to the studio and tell me. But and I've just seen there, that's Martin Gotchi, who's one of the Uncensored Patriots, which is a space that's on almost every day, all day, during the sort of working hours. That's his live footage, and that looks as if he's got the boy that was knocked down, the older guy. See that? He seems to have been bandaged up and sent in his merry way.
I know that guy, by the way. The guy who's... No, the guy who got knocked over, he's called Mystic Turtles on Twitter. It's Mystic Media is his name on Twitter. He's the guy who's been knocked over. I've sent him a DM just seeing if he's all right and that. But yeah, he's again, this is crazy. And by the way, not a violent man. This is not someone who's clearly went out to cause problems with the police. You know what I mean? He's basically absolutely right. AY audit as well. Great stream. These people who've gone there to cover this stuff are being run down by the police and been attacked by them purely for covering it. I mean, again, the situation that we find ourselves in this country, and it's every corner of this country, by the way, it's every single corner of it. There is migrant hotels going up. There are things going wrong. There are police turning blind eyes. And again, the grooming gang inquiry later this year, I imagine there will be absolute uproar when you hear some of the stories that come out of that. And people there's so many people in the country who aren't switched on to what's going on in this country. They don't know about it because the mainstream media don't cover it. This Epping protest, you won't see it on the BBC. You will not see it on there. They just pretend it doesn't go on. And the truth of the matter is the only way you find out is through channels like Craig's, or you follow the right people on Twitter. We've mentioned AY Audit. We've mentioned Martin Gotchi and the Uncensored Patriots. Follow those people and get the truth out there as best you can. Retweet it, repost it, all the rest of it. Show your friends, because the only way we're going to change this country is when people realise what the hell is going on in this country. It's absolutely disgusting beyond belief.
It's a crazy world we live in. Well, listen, I'm just going to, I'm just going to pop up a wee break for 56 seconds, just telling people what the show's all about. I'm not going to tell people why. You can work out yourself why I want to be off camera for 56 seconds, but I'll be back now. Hi there, welcome to a new concept for the channel where you, the viewer, gets to come onto the show and tell me, Houston, we have a problem. I want to hear from you, your community, and the issues you have with the United Kingdom currently. And the only thing I ask you to do is start a conversation with, Houston, we have a problem. When you see the description on YouTube, all you have to do is scroll down the description, click on that link, it'll bring you straight into the studio. From there, I'll invite you up, and you start the conversation with Houston, we have a problem. And we'll see what we can do to help you, your community, and your problems going forward. You never know, it might be my next journey, length and breadth of the UK, to come to your community and cover your issues. So get live, get involved. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, frightening.
And you're back.
You're back. I do like Martian, but I don't care much for his comments.
Everyone else have a cheery bye now.
Right. You get Martian's mum up here to sort him out. There's another thing that we've not spoke about, super injunction.
Oh God, yeah, I know that story. So for those who aren't aware, I mean, again, when you think the government can't get any worse, it turns out, and this is Tories, by the way. They basically there was a data leak that was caused by the Ministry of Defence, and they leaked out an awful lot of Afghans' names, and it will be people of different backgrounds and all the rest of it who basically helped them in Afghanistan in some capacity. We don't know how much, but obviously when you leak those names, the Taliban go and hunt them down. So what's happened is immediately the British started evacuating those people. But they knew that the British public would be angry about Afghans coming to the UK, because if you look at the statistics again, Afghanis are something like 20 times more likely to commit sex attacks on women than British citizens, right? So you do have a problem with that. And they've decided, well, what we'll do is, instead of, trying to explain the issue, or maybe he's going to a third country near Afghanistan and saying, we'll pay for, accommodation centre or something in Pakistan, just something that we could do to give them a chance to have a new life. What we did was we said, we'll bring them here instead. And sure enough, I'm sure many of them have gone on to commit crimes, because at the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter whether you helped point out where the Taliban was in Afghanistan. That doesn't make you a good person, right? It doesn't make you suitable to live in a first world country. A lot of these people are, frankly, savages and barbarians and have no right, should not be here. But they've been brought here. Oh, and by the way, we also have to pay for them for the rest of their lives. We've agreed to do that. Oh, and by the way, we've also agreed to pay for all of their dependents as well. One of them brought 14 the other day, it was revealed. 14. Now, the media knew about this for a long time, but they weren't allowed to report on it because the government took out a super injunction. Super injunctions, in my opinion, shouldn't exist. What they are is, unlike an injunction, so an injunction is where you are not allowed to report on a story. A super injunction says not only are you not allowed to report on a story, you're not even allowed to acknowledge that something's being covered up. You're not allowed to, you just have to pretend it never happened. Now, the aftermath of that, there was a lot of confusion because one Zia Yusuf, you may have heard of Reform fame, he posted on Twitter that it was Robert Jenrick and Suella Braverman who were responsible for this. And all you need to do was do a basic timeline check of when they were in the cabinet and what they were responsible for at the time, and you will realize it was nothing to do with them whatsoever. It was, in fact, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a bald guy. I can't remember his name, but I'll find it out. But there was a Tory minister who was responsible for this. So the MOD had a cock up. Obviously, as a result, they leaked out a load of documents that they shouldn't have done. And in response, someone in the Tory party who was in the government at the time decided to sign off on this. But remember, it was also Boris Johnson who was the Prime Minister at the time, and he signed off on it too. So, yeah, a lot of people think Boris is a great guy and stuff. I've said it's the biggest lie going. He's actually a terrible man and a terrible Prime Minister, and responsible for a lot of the problems we still have today.
I've got a thing here by Yvonne, who's an avid watcher of the channel. Thanks, Yvonne. Does anyone know if there's any update on the missing 12-year-old girl from Cowie? I've not heard this story, Yvonne, so I can't
I've
help
not heard
there.
that story either. Sorry.
Here's a more worrying thing from my Chong. Bell Hotel in Epping, Essex. Demonstrators are now in the hotel. Hope it doesn't get silly. Now, I've got a bit of a problem here, right? We saw police officers in vans, so we've got to assume that there was more than one officer in those vans. And we've seen loads of vans leaving the scene at a high speed of knots. But if that protest is at the hotel, and they've left the hotel, and now we've got people inside the hotel, was that not kind of one of the main points of them being there in the first place, to make sure nobody got into the hotel?
Look,
So
the whole
if they
situation
are
is
in the
a mess.
hotel, then that's just pretty crazy that the police are buggered off. So,
Yeah.
but obviously,
The whole situation is a mess, and the truth of the matter is those men and women are angry because they want justice, because their girls have been attacked. This was started because a girl was attacked the other night. It was reported, and a load of guys went down there and actually chased them out of a local park. That was recorded and put up by the Patriots of Britain people. Again, this stuff going on now everywhere all the time is because people realise that we have a government that is not on the side of the British people. It wants to bring these people here, even though it knows that these people will increase crime rates, will ruin little girls' lives, and they don't care.
Mm-hmm. As long as they can say you're a fascist, racist, Islamophobic, far-right thug, if you don't agree with us.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm just checking the BBC website. Nothing about this at all. Nothing about this at all. Thing on the Afghan data breach, the Euros, Diane Abbott, and police say one child dead in Minehead school crash, and that's the front page of the BBC. So yeah,
Didn't happen. That was just, Basil, it was a fortnight ago when I went down to London for the football lads children's march thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's thousands of people out in the streets here, and two things I thought were a bit bizarre. One, no coverage in the mainstream.
Yeah.
And two, just as the thing was starting to wind down, I walked round the corner so I could do a bit of the camera myself with my mic and without picking up all the background noise. And as I was setting up my camera and whatever, there was cops having a wee break, and they were standing against the wall where I was getting set up. I was like, "Who's doing, boys? Quiet day today, yeah?" They're like, "There was only one arrest." I says, "I think I seen that. It looked like a counter-protester trying to run in." He says, "That's exactly what it was." And I says, "You heard any numbers in your earpieces?" For sort of suggested crowd, because I could then use that information in my video that I'm about to put out. And he went, "Aye, we kind of get told it was 500. It's like, mate, there's more than 500 walk past us going out in the time I've been talking to you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen my footage for that. There was thousands.
Yeah, I did.
And
Yeah.
There's no way there was 500 there. But so you've got that. You're competing with the fact that the there's thousands of people on the streets of Britain's capital, and the mainstream media don't want to tell about it.
Yeah. Well, I saw on Twitter people saying there was as many as 20,000 there at that protest, mate. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it's probably too high. But still, whatever it is, it's higher than 500. Again, they're lying for a reason, you know.
There's Jenny saying there's police right out there. If anybody can see any links to any lives, if you let us know, and we'll try and get some shot. I don't want to steal folks' punters and stuff like that. Folks' good efforts, but just share it. Put it up for maybe 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, I've got a live stream.
There's many police there as well. There has been some violence and destruction of police vans. Yeah, we saw that in the videos that we put up, buddy. Kev, it's going Tonto and Epping in a big way. Kev, get us a link, mate. We'll get some footage up, buddy.
So Craig, if you're on YouTube, AY_audits, he's live on YouTube right now, showing what's going on.
I'll try and find that. But what are you seeing just now, Basil, from...
Well, there's people saying that they've broken the hotel. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of people are saying that. I've not seen any video of that. But what right now I'm seeing is it's kind of calming down a bit. There's protesters on either side letting certain cars through, but stopping police, which is causing, obviously, standoffs and the like. Basically, there's an awful lot of people outside this hotel, and I've seen the counter protest, which was tiny, and it was the same people, with the same placards you see everywhere, the stand up to racism stuff, all paid, by the way, all paid. It's all been traced back. These people are paid to go there. So yeah, Mystic Media, that's the guy who got run over. I've just seen Robert Anderson. It's on Mystic Media live on YouTube. That's the guy who got run over, I believe. Yeah. I'll try and find his live stream now. Just crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely crazy.
Oh, there we go. Right, let me just go here. Do that. I don't know why it's not letting me put this up. But it's kind of, just... There we go. So that's us live. The other boys just been daft with jibs and stuff like that. You don't want to be doing that, son. You'll end up with 31 months plus stuck up your bum. It certainly looks as if there was anything going on. I take it that's the hotel in the background we can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying I've not seen anything where people saying they're getting in the hotel. I've not seen anything like that. Yeah. You can see they're staying quite well back. But yeah, it's people are angry. People are angry. People are furious, and they've got a right to be angry. The state of this country is not good, and everybody knows the reason why this country is in a bad state and the people who are causing it. And I just hope that more parties and more politicians get in who want to bring this madness to an end. But if you look at the big parties in this country, the Labour Party, the Tory Party, the SNP, they facilitated this for decades. The SNP is still saying now we need more migrants into Scotland. Now they're still saying it. They look at this going on in England and go, we want some of that. Do they not think that people in Scotland are going to kick off in the exact same way and going to be furious in the exact same way? But they don't care. And the Labour Party obviously don't care. It's an awful state of affairs that we find ourselves in, and it all has to come to an end.
It's absolute bedlam. Well, it doesn't look as bad. I mean, we don't know what's happened in the sort of half hour that we've not seen, but it kind of looks as if there was anything there. It must either
have calming down.
Or they've got it heavy under control. I do severely hope there's nobody in that hotel, because if anybody gets in that hotel, then they're not going to get in there to say hello and take a selfie. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we could do without that, because it just turns the narrative the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? You just swing it away from what we should be talking about, and that is the concerns of people and about what's happening in their communities.
Yeah.
That's why I've got up just now, guys, just to give them credit. There's a few here saying Sonny why. So, I don't want to be stealing the guy's thunder and stealing the guy's glory or anything. I just want to, we're live having people on here. If they want to jump over to EY and watch it. Oh. What's this? Some of the boys running about. Is that somebody to pick up on again? That's just mental. That's no kind of what we want. We want a problem solved, and giving people stuff to turn the story 180 degrees isn't going to happen. What's this saying? My questions predated the media issues. For example, child abuse could be a wonderful mental.
Crazy.
Scary, isn't it? Scary days. Well, listen, we've been on for over an hour. Is there anything we've missed, Basil, that's maybe stories that popped up when I was away? Or
I can't remember any right now. There's always so much going on in the country. It's absolutely mental. Obviously, there was a little girl, wasn't there? They wore the Union Jack dress, Courtney. And she wore the Union Jack dress to school. And sure enough, the school, it was for a culture. They were celebrating Cultures Day. And they said, well, we are here to celebrate cultures, Courtney, but not your culture. It's all the other cultures around the world. You can't wear a Union Jack dress. Like Jerry Halliwell, I think she wanted to dress up like that iconic thing. So, yeah, obviously the poor lass got sent home. But you know what actually struck me about the story was that not only did she get sent home for wearing a Union Jack dress on a, let's celebrate different cultures day, she also got told by the school to put on a second-hand school uniform that they had there. So not only it's like, well, you know, this is so offensive, you can't be in the school. It's like, while you're waiting for your parents, we don't even want you to wear that dress. And that goes to show how disgusting these teachers are and just how indoctrinated they are. It is awful beyond belief. And anyway, I'm very pleased to say that Courtney and her dad, Stuart, are coming on the podcast on Sunday. So if anyone follows me on Twitter, you'll catch it on there. Or you can catch it on itsonlypolitics.co.uk. So yeah, they're coming on the podcast on Sunday.
It's a shame you didn't know any half decent. It's a shame you didn't know any half decent YouTubers you could recommend them talking to.
Well, every time I recommend people talk to you, Craig, they always go, "Cheery bye now." So of course, I will pass the message on and say, why don't you go on YouTube and do a live stream with Craig Houston? Or
even do a recording. I don't care. But it'd be lovely to talk to him, because that story was just coming out as I was coming out of my holidays, and I was just thinking, I was just in Croatia, right? And you can't really go 500 yards in Croatia without seeing a Croatia flag somewhere, or some, this sort of modern wall art stuff with their flag and the red and white checks and stuff. And that's the way it should be. Any country that doesn't want to even celebrate its own flag, that's just a totally bonkers notion for me.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't celebrate your own flag. And I'll never forget the first time I went to Turkey. This would have been 94, 95, I think. And when they were taking you from the airport to the bus, and the travel reps at the front of the bus telling you all the things you need to know, and the exchange rate and the temperature and all that sort of nonsense. And by the way, when you're in the resort, you'll see Turkish flags everywhere, and you'll see a lot of posters and statues to this guy called Ataturk, and call him the father of Turkey. Don't show any of that in the national anthem. Don't even laugh and point at a thing, because they'll just go nuts. And I remember folk going, "Oh, that's terrible." And I was like, "No, that's great. I love people being proud of their nation, proud of their founders, proud of their flag and their anthem. That's the way every country should be."
Yeah.
And we're the complete opposite. And that's really, really, really saddens me. And, I've been to America maybe 4 or 5 times. And I remember two things happened that really shone for me. And that was, I went to Daytona for one of the NASCAR races. And the troops, veterans, fly past, the national anthem, stars and stripes everywhere. I felt proud to be bloody American, and I'm no American, right? It really was beautiful to see. And then I was on the 4th of July, their Independence Day, on, what's that beach in Miami? What's the name is right? Is it Ocean Drive?
Oh, I don't know.
That's the wrong man. Parallel with the beach down in Miami. And the fireworks and the celebrations and the stars and stripes everywhere and the atmosphere, and you're like, these people are really proud of their nation. Whereas, unfortunately, I can't say the same about the United Kingdom. We've got a lot of people in the United Kingdom who are proud of their nation. But establishments seem to be embarrassed about our nation. And by the way, and we need to change that.
This goes back a long way, by the way. George Orwell commented on this in the 1930s, and he said that he was talking about English people in particular. He said an Englishman would rather be caught stealing from the poor box at a church than singing the national anthem. And he was not. He didn't say Englishman. I think he said like middle class Englishman or something. But basically, his point being is that this has always existed. There is an element within our culture. And by the way, I don't see it nowhere near as much in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I'm proud to say, pleased to say. But there is a problem in England where, particularly, there is an element of our society that is very middle class, upper class, very stuck up, very snobby, and they believe that flying the flag, being proud of your country is a problem. And the Labour Party are absolutely riddled with them.
Mm-hmm. But see, living in the United Kingdom is optional.
Well, it's an option that they take, yeah.
Everybody, even people who are British, staying here is an option. You don't have to stay here. And I'd kind of, see if I really detested my country so much, I would look at immigrating. And if I did ever immigrate to another country and I didn't like it, its culture or its people or its laws, I wouldn't try to change them. I'd just change my address.
Yeah. And
I don't see why that's complicated for some people. But if you're British and you really are disgusted with Britain, off you pop. You can go most places in the world with a British passport. It's not a problem. And quite a lot of them have got, even if they're not part of the EU. So leaving the EU is actually made it easier, because I looked at stuff like, because I'm a YouTuber now, and there's these digital passports, not that I'm leaving anytime soon. But I was like, what does that mean? And I was looking, digital visas, as they call it. And you're guaranteed one. If you do what I do, you work online, you can go into Spain, guaranteed 5 years, but it's only open to non-EUs, right? And you're like, that's fantastic. And by the way, go them all over the world. Go to Singapore if you want, go to Thailand, go wherever you want. Most countries have got these arrangements. So it isn't difficult to immigrate. Nobody's stopping you. And even more frustrating is people who are not British come to Britain and go, this place is shit. I want to change the culture, I want to change your laws, I want to change your identity. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
I would never do that. I wouldn't. There's some places abroad that I would love to, maybe when I'm a wee bit older, retire and whatever, going, I don't emigrate permanently, but maybe go and spend a few years enjoying other cultures and stuff like that. Certainly when they want to force my culture onto them. Now, if I wanted to feel a bit Scottish or a bit British, I'm quite sure I could find a pub that'll do a Sunday roast or a Rangers supporters club in any corner of the globe if I want to, be amongst my own. But I wouldn't force that on any country when I'm there as a guest. And I don't see what's difficult about that. But even saying that, hold on. There's some I'm just going to put this back up. There's a wee bit of a problem somewhere. It's just seen online. Let's go to that one. And it's not shown. Oh, yeah, over there. A wee bit to show. Looks as if it's getting a wee bit of nastiness. There's a guy turned up there, helmet on. That's just bonkers, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happened to get that guy so angry, but he's obviously a bit upset. I must say, right now, I don't see the point of a guy turning up to a protest with a helmet on. It's a bit bonkers. I think it's safe to say there's going to be arrests, Basil, and probably not that far away. Looking at what we are looking at
it's going to be loads
right now. And again, just to give credit where credit's due, this is AY audits that we're piggybacking on here. But yeah, that's going to go south. Count to 10 in it, and it's going to go. But from what I can see there's probably half a dozen tops people there that are looking as if they might not mind if it gets a bit violent.
Yeah.
But it looks as if there's a hell of a lot of people who aren't looking to get involved in violence are there to protest. And again, that's not how this narrative goes. There's a guy that's injured. Again, hope he's not had another wee bit of an issue to deal with there. Then see the guys standing there with the shields.
Yeah.
What did you tell you about them? Did they want to be there?
Yeah, listen, whenever I speak to police officers, they hate this stuff. They often agree with us. They're like, we don't want them here either. But the thing is, they're obviously tasked with doing this stuff. And it's just awful. It's just awful.
I wonder who's getting taken away in the ambulance, by the way. I would imagine it's somebody in this side because they're being applauded as they're way out. And this is a bit worrying.
Crazy.
Is that another incident down the bottom of the road? Or is that just the police cars on their way?
Crazy. Anyway, mate, I've only got 5 minutes left, so before I need to go and do something. So, you want to wrap up, or you want me to? I've got to go 9:30, mate. You said an hour. You said an hour.
I'm a bit disappointed There you go. There's somebody put in why is that not showing? Bob Hunter, Houston, we have a problem. We do need to live here. You're right, mate, and thanks very much for your donation. Just so folk know these days, I've got, I think the last 3 weeks I've spent easily a 4-figure sum going to Ballymena, Dover, Cali, and still I would to do that easily. It wasn't much under 4 figures, I think, the Dover Cali trip alone. But I've got some big plans, and I can see myself jumping in the motor, to be honest with you, and ending up in Epping over the weekend somewhere. But I've got some foreign visits I want to do. So anybody that sends super stickers or the panic coffees, I'm going to put them aside for the trips. And I've got 4 places, all foreign, that I fancy covering between now and the end of the summer, which are all bar one are immigration allegation linked. And I don't like telling people where I'm going, because obviously a lot of the places that I go to can be a bit of a day. But 3 out of the 4 trips that I want to do are foreign. So any monies that's donated in through Super Chat, stickers, or the best one, by the way, if you want to donate money, all are appreciated, is the Buy Me a Coffee, because they take less off, and it's a considerable amount less than YouTube do. So if anybody wants to help, channel helps to help get some more stories, that's what we do, and takes a wee bit of pressure off me, because everybody else will get bills and obligations. And when you spend £1,000 in the space of 1 calendar month covering stocks, it does put some stresses on your pounds, shillings and pence. So thanks very much for that, Bob. So Basil, thanks very much again for coming on. I know the people that watch the channel like your input and like you visiting. So has that Bob done that again? He has. Bob's put up another. Thanks very much, Bob. I don't know if you've done that by mistake or not, but you've got 2 on television. So away again. I'm kind of flying blind now. I don't know what's happening in the stream. I don't know if I've confused the living daylights out or not. But if you can hear me, can you put a number 1 in the comments, please? Because I'm not sure if we've still got sound. Right, I'm not sure what's happening here. Saying that my connection is very good. Somebody's trying to phone me now. Hi, mate.
Hi, mate. Sorry, the thing crashed again at the end there for me. I don't know what's going on with my laptop.
I think it might be me. I'm not sure. Aye, people can't hear me. All right, mate, I am still live. I just didn't know folk could hear me. There's Kev's come up to keep me company, Basil. So.
All right, have fun, mate. Catch you later.
Cheers. Thanks again. Cheers, mate. Sorry, guys. Basil had a wee bit of a problem. I think it was maybe mine. How are you, Kev?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Just sitting watching all this carnage. GB News has been covering it as well.
Oh, have they?
Aye, there's been a couple of things about it as well on GB News. But it just goes to show the kind of unrest the country's currently facing now. I mean, Falkirk, that's who was it, Royston the other week there with you. You've got Peterhead upcoming. I'm just waiting for Glasgow to completely explode at some point. They're not going to. The people of Glasgow are not going to continue to put up with us much longer either. But this is what happens when they keep ignoring us, and this is what people are doing. They're just saying, "Do you know what? Enough's enough," and you can't blame them any longer. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to see some of the ugly scenes that we're seeing, but you just see what the Poles have done to some of the people down there. I mean, running over the top of people. What kind of response do you expect to get the back of that? It's just getting ridiculous. I'm going to
sorry, mate.
So I'm going to take a wee run out later on. I've got something I want to go and check out for somebody. I'll keep you posted on that one as well, if that materialises into anything. I've been in touch with a couple of British Legions today as well.
Brilliant.
I spoke to my mate today, who's speaking to his stepson as well. Maybe try and get them and him and his mates to do a wee chat with you about some of the things that they've been getting, how they've been treated since leaving front lines, so to speak. One of them actually, well, three of them actually follow you religiously as well. So watch all your YouTube content and that. So they know, they're well aware of who you are. So they're hoping to. I think there's going to be a wee chance that they'll maybe have a wee chat with you. But do you know what? I'm kind of running out of banter now because it's just getting that fucking serious now. It's soul destroying watching what's happening in this country, and nobody seems to be coming to save us. It just seems to be we're just getting left to fight this off on our own, so to speak. Government just keeps bringing these people in. They're no interested in listening to the people. They're no interested in stopping the boats. They're no interested in stopping them at source. I was on a thread yesterday, absolutely getting jumped on for every left-wing nutbag that you could think of. Obviously, the usual comments: racist, bigot, fascist, Nazi, all the usual terms you get called. You know what I mean? And I keep batting it back to them, pointing out where I'm being racist. Because at no point do I mention any colour, no point do I mention nationality. I just mention the fact that we've got people breaking into your country. You don't offer somebody the spare room if they break into your house. So why are we offering these people hotels and you're getting them, they're only getting £40 a week. Well, if you listen to Stephen Smith, the CEO for Care for Cali, he openly stated what they do actually get. They get £49 a week. But that's on top of the fact that it's costing the taxpayer £145 a night or a day to keep these people in hotels. So they're getting shelter, they're getting fed, they're getting mobile phones, they're getting clothes. I was in Mark's space the other night there, and there was a lady from Aberdeen came in, and funny enough, she was one of these pro-Pally ones, the sympathisers, and then she started rhyming off that she can't afford to put food on her table. She struggled through the winter there to put heating at her heating on. She's had her broadband cut off a couple of times because she's not got any money. She called me ignorant because obviously I brought up the stats about Glasgow's sexual assaults since the 4,000 migrants came in. And then when she finished saying that, I says, do you not find it ironic that you're just sitting rhyming off of things that you're struggling today, yet these people are getting all of that and more free of charge? And she just sort of piped down at that point. Bearing in mind they get free healthcare, they get free dental care as well on top of it. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. They don't care. They're not listening to us. So when you don't listen, would you? Sorry, mate.
They're putting some of their strange politics in front of the safety of people in the country and dressing it up. It's just ridiculous.
It's bad, mate. It's bad.
Hold on a minute, mate. Wait, hear this, right? Somebody's put out a post tonight on Twitter. 2 Palestinian Christians have been killed by an Israeli attack against the church in Gaza. Right?
I've seen that today.
They shared it, right, and put absolute silence from so many Christian politicians in the West.
Well,
honest to God, this guy's fucking insane.
Aye, mate. Well, I mean, I put an email against him 3 weeks ago no heard a thing back for the SNP or John Swinney. And all I asked the question was, why are we paying? Why is the Scottish taxpayer paying this boy a wage when he's never in Holyrood, he's never in his constituency, he never talks about Scotland, but he manages to get down to London to talk about Gaza or take part in the pro-Pally marches. So why are we paying him a wage? And I just said that at the boat, as a concerned citizen, I want answers. Guess what? Not a thing. Complete radio silence.
It's chaos. Listen, see Bob Hunter. Bob Hunter's put a few super stickers together tonight, 3 in total, so thanks very much, Bob Hunter. But I noticed in the comments, and I can't find it when I was talking about what I do with this money, and it'll get me more trips abroad to get. I'm going to. It's not going to be going and top my suntan up, believe me. I went to Cali and it was an amazing experience. But it wasn't much sightseeing, that's for sure. And somebody had mentioned, as I said, if you're going to be giving in the buy me a coffee thing, actually they take a substantial less off your donations than YouTube do. And somebody said that they'd bought a coffee earlier, so I clicked onto my buy me a coffee. And while I've been on here, there's been 3 people donated money on buy me a coffee. That just blows my mind and blows me away. You know what I mean? How humble that makes me. There's a £5 and a £7 donation. Just people I don't know them. But the one that's just blew my mind is G White. I don't know where this converts to, and I don't know why it's come through in dollars, and maybe he lives abroad. But it's come through with $101 US donation.
Wow.
That must be 70, 80 quid. I'm blown away, G White. And I'll send you a thanks once I'm off here, privately. But it also, this isn't just Big Craig's a lovely guy. This is people that go, do you know what? These things need covered, and I think that's what's happening here.
Well, it's the same way. I mean, look, I've said it in many spaces in recent times. There's 3 people that I've got so much admiration for and respect for, because they're not doing it for the fame, they're not doing it for publicity, they're not doing it for money, they're doing it for a reason. That's yourself, John Watt, and our very own AC Spartan. If anybody's never listened to Alex talk in a space, right? Alex never asks for a penny, and even when he gets offered anything, he refuses it and turns it down. And that tells me when you've got people are no looking for money to do what they're doing, they're just trying to help, and they're trying to do something good for the British people and the Scottish people in particular, with the 3 names that I just mentioned. And look, at the end of the day, you might make a couple of pound off your YouTube channels, right? But rightly so. Why should you not need to make money?
Well, listen, I'm in a fortunate position over the last few months, and I don't have a problem talking about this, because I believe that being transparent is the way to be. And what I get now from YouTube, which doesn't cost anybody anything, and that is because I'm monetizing YouTube, is enough to allow me to do this full time now, right? So I don't need to worry about I still need to get people to watch my videos, because if nobody watches my videos next month, I get 0 money off them. But the sort of level average is where I am now. It allows me to put more time into this, and I've got a wee other business that I kind of play at it now, to be honest with you. That was my main income for a long time, and I don't have that pressure anymore, so I'm really blessed to have that. And that doesn't cost any reviewers anything. But when I went to Cali, I was away for 5 days. So when I'm away for 5 days, I'm not making any income, because I'm doing videos. Then when I put videos up, that will make me some. But so there's a cost to that. I mean, I could say, well, bugger it, I'm not going to go to Cali and sit in the house and make videos and generate an income. So you've got a wee bit of lost earnings because of travelling days where you're not getting anything you're putting out. And you've got costs. So, it's kind of, well, how do I do that? So I need to make sure when I go away that I cover my expenses. And also, the days that I'm travelling, I kind of need to know that I'm going to be making X amount per day. So that's lost and lump money as well, that you're not earning while you're travelling and when you're away. So this is great. Just people just saying whatever. The next trip that I want to go on, and I'm hopefully I can book it within the next week, is to, without naming the place, it's foreign. It's a gateway for many. It's one of the busiest routes into Europe, and it's right in the coalface. And I want to go, and I've priced it, and I need to get to Manchester first of all. I need to have a hotel the night before. I need to pay for the flights and accommodation at the other end. I need to hire a car to get me about the place. The whole thing is going to cost probably £1,000. So, if anybody wants any money that goes in, as I say, to the buy my coffees and these sort of stuff, that'll all go towards that, and I'll be appreciative of anything for anybody.
Well, I'd like to just say, I mean, it's good to see Alex Kearney for AC Spartan. If you don't follow him on X, AC Spartan 1 is his at handle. Get the guy followed. He's doing some great works, and John Watt and yourself. I mean, people should be subscribing to your channels. Should be trying to help as much as we can now, because at the end of the day, yous are the media. You know what I mean? I know you don't like that term. Do you know what I mean? Because you are quite a humble guy. But the fact of the matter is, you are the media, Craig, because you've went to, as you say, you've been to Ballymena to bring, but the mainstream media don't bring us. You've been to Cali. The two videos that you put out there should be alarming to anybody at best. Do you know what I mean? That costs money. You've got Alex Kearney's on the road every day, pulling these nonsense up.
Without doxing myself, and I don't like saying I'm going to go here, because you don't know what lunatics would be there before you. But out of the 3 immigration destinations I want to go to, 2 of them are right at the coalface of main lines into mainland Europe. Or certainly into the EU, and then once they're in the EU, they get to France and they bother, because nobody will stop them, and then they become our problem. So 2 of them are right into the front line. One of them is to go to the place in Europe that's got the worst effects of immigration. I mean, it's pretty scary out there right now, and I want to go there and report and let people see what potentially we could be looking at in a not far time. And the fourth one, which is nothing to do with immigration, I want to go to Israel, and I want to talk to people on both sides of that conflict to say, look, here's me with a camera, and I'm giving normal people a microphone. It's no my spin on it, and I have got somebody who's wanting to help fund that. And they're obviously on one side of the argument, not the other, but I made it perfectly clear that if I do this, it will be to report on both sides. And I'm going to talk to Muslims, I'm going to talk to Christians, I'm going to talk to Jews, I'm going to talk to folk of European descendants, and I'm going to talk to Arabic descendants, and play it with a straight bat. And I don't know how that will go. And they're talking about getting me into some of the major cities over there, even down to the border with Gaza. So, I mean, these will be amazing things to do. But I think it's important that we do it, and as many people as possible do it. So what we're putting out is, when I say we, I'm talking about people who maybe call themselves civilian journalists, whatever they want to term themselves. And I think it's important that we put microphones in people's faces across all these issues, and that the British people then have exactly what I've done at Ballymena.
Mm-hmm.
Get folk there, tell us what's going on. Then people can make their own minds up, because I'm fed up hearing the news that others want us to hear, and then hearing it reported with a spin that suits some people's narratives. And that's kind of, and this only happened before. I was meant to be doing something totally different, which I'll still be doing in the future, with quite a well-known person down south. And it was all planned. I was ready to go down on the Thursday morning, early doors, spend a couple of days with him.
Aye.
It came up, there was a problem their end, and they got hold of me late on one night, and I couldn't do it. And at the exact same time, there was a guy, Alan from Ballymena, sent me a message on Twitter and said, Craig, is there any chance you could put our story out? When I think what he meant was, he would tell me, some folk there would tell me, and I'd sit in the house and do what I normally do my 10-minute moans, and I thought, oh, bugger it, I'm going out there, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'd kept my diary clear for 48 hours because that's the other thing that I was meant to be doing. So it was just weird the way it worked. And away I went, and I popped over to Ballymena, and we put a video out, and it went a bit nuts. I think it was about 180,000 people, so it's mad, watched that video. And I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed that. And obviously the viewers really enjoyed it as well. And then I went to Dover not long after that, was it the following week. I get just nuts one night, just went bugger it, I did nothing booked. I never even had a hotel booked. I just jumped in the motor and started driving south, and halfway down I got a Marston, I got a travel lodge booked for the first night. Made contact, the boy, the Patriot, he managed to put us in contact with some folk in Dover. Done that, jumped in a ferry the next morning and rode about Cali looking for see what the script was, and it was great. And I kind of think that's what I need to be doing now.
Well, that is what you just need to be doing. I mean, at the end of the day, if you turn that big square box on in the telly, you're only going to get one side of the story. You know what I mean? And it's all government kind of led. But I didn't know much about Alec until recent times. But you look at the work that he does. Didn't know much. I knew about you through a lot of my pals. Didn't know nothing about John Watt. But when you start watching these people, because obviously Tommy Robinson, as we all know, is most probably the biggest name that we know in the UK right now. But to find out that there's actually a lot more people out there doing the same thing, and every single one of you are humble. You haven't got egos. You don't think you are better than anybody else. Alec goes into the Uncensored Patriots space nearly every day, contributes, tells his stories. He was in our space last night talking about his army career as well last night and what's wrong with the British Army right now as well. You've got John Watt, that, as you know, went down to Wales to cover the farmers' protest as well.
You just reminded me, I might be meeting up with John tomorrow night, and you've just reminded me of the fact I need to contact him later on.
Well, I'm a bit where he stays.
No, he's through this way.
Right, okay.
But
I mean, look, at the end of the day, you've got to keep doing what you're doing, and at the end of the day, I think you've all do a great job, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people think the same as myself. At the end of the day, look, you're always going to get people that are going to don't like the things you're doing, but you know what? It's like you say, just turn down the noise, and just you keep doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that everybody knows what's happening in this country right now, and this country's falling apart, and it's in a bad way. So kudos to all the people that are prepared to do something and get their name out there, get their face out there, and do something about it. You can't help but praise them all.
Truthfinders asked me a question here. When people buy YouTube memberships, do you get it all, or do they take 30% off everyone like they do in super chats? Well, they do, Truthfinder, but as Jenny's mentioned, having memberships is a good thing because YouTube quite like that, and they kick the more members you've got. So it's trying to get a balance. But is Buy Me a Coffee better for you? Well, it is, yes, because Buy Me a Coffee is, I'm sure it's 2.9% plus 30 cents for every transaction. So if somebody gives you a £5, you would lose 50 cents. Do you know what I mean? So it is, and but it's. I think people want to be members. It's great because that does help the channel, to be fair, as well. But sort of folk doing like one-off donations, Buy Me a Coffee is far better. And there's Bob again. Bob's gone sticker mad tonight. He's done that like 4 or 5 times. So, Bob, see if you're drunk, right, and that's been an accident, let me know, because we'll get Kev the Truth round your door to give you back if it is. appreciate that if it's not. But if it has been an accident, just let me know. So that's what we're hopefully we're up to this side of the summer, Kev. Plenty more trips. You and I are away to Peterhead with Alex and John on the 9th of August, which I'm really looking forward to that.
I think that's what
have you decided yet? Are you going to get the balls to get up there and grab a mic?
Look, I don't speak, right? I mean, look, I just be a No, hold on, right? Hold on, for God's sake, right? Right. If you listen to yourself, Alec, yourself, and John Watt, right? You're all talking about something that's relevant, right? You're all well versed in what your subjects are. These are knowledgeable, etc. I just go into spaces and just rant. I just give opinions. That rally is not about somebody standing up on a stage and just giving an opinion. It's about people getting a message out. So I'll support who's going to
opinions, Kevin. That's why people are listening to you, because you're saying what a lot of people think. So, getting up and delivering a speech, there is a kind of skill to that. There is certain things that people that are good at giving speeches are, and that just comes through practice, I suppose. And I'm not suggesting for a minute I'm any great speaker or anything, public speaker, but a lot of these things come through experience. But when you talk next spaces, for anybody that's not next, these are great, like chat rooms basically, and because you're just full of passion. So it doesn't matter if the person before you or after you was a wee bit better at delivering a speech, but people appreciate it when you just get up and it's pure raw and it's just, I'm pissed off and here's why. Do you know what I mean? So don't belittle yourself for, maybe there's the odd person that might be better speaking, but some people. What does that mean, Alex?
You're getting tagged on X.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Alex, come on up. He's a bit of banter before we call it a night.
He's a bit of banter. A bit of decorum, you mean?
So don't, don't knock yourself for. I mean, I've been at events down south. I've been in amazing places, the London School of Economics, talking to folk about politics, and they're like, how did I end up doing this gig? And there was some fantastic speakers, could present a lot better than I could ever hope to present, more knowledgeable than I could ever hope to be about politics. And after it, there was like a sea of people come up to shake my hand and stuff, and I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, well, what are you doing? Why? He was and they're like, no, you were believable. You were honest. You were more raw. We enjoyed you more than we enjoyed these guys. And these are guys that you would know some of their names, and I'm like, I'm just a normal geezer. So just don't if you want to do it there, and you'll get well respected for it, and people will like it,
I mean, I've thought about it. I've kind of thought about the things I would say, how I would put it across. Obviously, I have got a bit of a potty mouth, which I would need to kind of tone down for that sort of thing.
You don't,
you know
mate.
What I mean?
You don't, mate. It's just brilliant. But that's the thing, when people go to events, if they had everybody sounding the same and saying the same. Sorry to be not looking at the camera here, but Alex is looking for the link to join in. Alex, if you're listening and you can get on YouTube, click, it's in the description, but I'm just trying to get a copy to send you in WhatsApp, mate, so bear with me. No, if they went up and it was 4 people saying the exact same thing, it kind of gets a bit boring.
It gets boring.
So just don't be put off. If you want, and listen, if you don't want to do it, you don't do it. But
no, I mean, I have been thinking about it, because I mean, at the end of the day, I know the people that are going to turn up that day are going to be feeling the same way as I'm feeling right now. But knowing the speakers that are going to be there, it's like, well, how do you follow the people like yourself and John and Alec that are, as I say, that are well versed? I mean, I'm no politically astute. Well, you know my voting history, so that tells you how astute that one was. Do you know what I mean? How wrong I've
We
got
all
that
make
early.
mistakes, mate. We all make mistakes.
And it's
I'll
just, I
send
mean,
you a WhatsApp if you're listening, mate.
the kind of the things we talk about on X. I mean, I learn things off of people. Do you know what I mean? Because I sit and listen to a lot of good people on X. I mean, you've got obviously the Monday night space where you've got like Nil, YC. I mean, YC is a force of nature. Do you know what I mean? Phenomenal woman. You've got Tilly, you've got Pap, you've got David Atherton. And then you've got like the Uncensored Patriots, you've got the Saxon's Cock. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of good things on that platform that people can get involved with, but at the same time, too, there's always the sly ones in the background that just feel like they've got to knock everything, rather than just saying, do you know what? I understand that I might not like this person, but I'm just going to get on with what I'm getting on with and let them get on with what they're getting on with. Because at the end of the day, we're all wanting the same thing, and that's a better country, not just for us, but for our children and their children. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Right, here's Alex. What's happening out there, buddy?
How you doing, Craig?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Good. Glad to hear it.
You in your van?
Aye. That a problem for you?
I probably wouldn't recognise you if you weren't in your van talking to me in a video call, mate.
Man in a van.
See how aggressive you go there, Kev? I'm shitting myself now. It's a fucking problem for you, like, aye.
You're getting tagged a lot on X just now, Craig. People are like asking me to get you into a thing because I've been watching what's happening in Epping. I've got a mate down there. So I know exactly where it's taking place. I was down Epping Epping Forest Country Club years ago watching Cage Rage, 20 odd year ago. 2 people have been struck with vehicles.
Seen that.
There's mayhem breaking out, but listen, it's interesting that they're billing it as civil unrest. It's not civil unrest. It's a reaction to a young girl being brutalised.
That's right.
There's nothing unruly or unrestful or unwarranted about it. A wee girl's been brutalised. So are men and women not allowed to protest their anger?
Well,
I think
that's exactly what I'm saying, Alex. And what I was saying was, you could see footage that I was showing. I was going into other people that were live and they were down there, and I was putting it up here. I was giving them full credit because I don't want to be seen as a bit of an arsehole stealing folks' good work, you know. And there was bits where you've got a guy with a helmet on his face, like a bike helmet, and you're like, mate, and there's a guy getting up and kicking a polo shield and climbing in vans, and you're like, we're going to give them the ammunition to turn this away from the real issue. And the real issue is a young girl, right? Let's
that doesn't help
in the narrative. But we've now given the folk that want to change the narrative perfect ammunition to do it. And I can totally understand why people get frustrated, and frustration turns to anger, and anger turns to violence. I understand that route and how that happens, and I can't say they're wrong. I can't say they shouldn't be angry.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just stop it. But we need to try and refocus and say this is what it's about, and keep repeat. So what people tagging in? Do they want me to report on it? Do they want me to?
Yeah, they're just asking your opinion and stuff. Maybe try to get you on board to put it out. I don't know. Obviously, you've got some numbers there. Do you think, Craig, that there is some kind of master plan somewhere to turn the public against the police and almost throw the police under the bus so that they have the foundations for all the digital ID stuff, all of the other stuff that John Watt discusses quite regularly? You know, do you think that there's intelligence enough and corruption enough and evil enough at those levels that they could come up with something where they say, we really, really need to unsettle the public here on a national scale in order to have complete and utter control of them?
Yeah, well, I have heard a lot of people over the last 12 months suggest that if there's a public reaction, it'll help implement more draconian policing measures and legal things that they can do. So, and I understand that. What I can't do is dismiss that and say it's nonsense and say it's tinfoil hat stuff. But I'm not intelligent enough and learned enough on the topic to say 100% this is why it is. It could be people are angry because of stuff without having any super plan behind that. But could it be that people want a reaction, and if you just keep slapping the dog, fine well one day the dog's going to bite back, and some people it would suit them for that. Yeah, I kind of get that. I understand it. I'm just not sure whether it is or it isn't. But the fact that I can't dismiss it maybe tells you enough. We lost him there for a wee second.
Yeah, I'm back.
I don't know if you caught any of that. What I was saying was that I've heard a lot of people suggest this over the sort of last 12 months, and the fact that I can't say that's a lot of nonsense maybe tells you all you need to know. Because although we do talk about stuff like the climate change and all the stuff like that in the hills and the nonsense with that, I try to play it with a bat that nobody can go, he's a tinfoil hat. Because when you get that, to be that guy, you'll lose lots of your audience and you'll lose lots of people on other topics, right? Because they just go, that's that guy who talks about conspiracies all the time. So
I know, mate.
I have heard this, I've spoke about this. And the fact that I can't say, don't be stupid, that's an idiotic thought, maybe tells everybody all they need to know. So it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I get you. I feel that logically it seems to me that it's the only thing that I can put my finger on and can say it seems quite obvious, and it's like I've tried to think of every other reason that they would allow this to occur, because it's all by design. It's all a mechanism of implementing the agenda and the ideology. I can't see any other logical response. I certainly don't have one to describe anything else that could be at play here. To me, everything is about instilling fear, creating a bit of chaos that isn't too savage. It's still within their control, but it's enough to level up the enforcement and the control of the public. And it just looks to me like somewhere down the line, they're waiting for us to roll over and accept it and allow this country to become completely and utterly different from what we know it as, or they're waiting for enough of us for them to be able to label us as criminals and all the rest of it, by which point they'll have enough to then implement their wish on us. So either way, whether we kick off strong and we kick back strong, or we roll over, it's going to happen anyway. It's inevitable what the outcome is. It's whether or not we allow it. There are millions of us, but at this moment in time, British-born patriots, people, public, whatever you want to label yourself as, I believe we don't have the stomach for the fight on a national level. Some of us do. Those guys down there tonight in Epping are showing, the colour of their shirt, so to speak. But I just don't think it's enough. Are they going to push us until it is enough? I just think the outcome either way is inevitable. I'm not going to say on your channel what I want to say right now in one sentence. I'll wait and say to you in person. But I think it is in full swing, and it's well underway, and it's well on track for them getting over the line. That's what I think.
Well, the only thing, right, see if you were super devious, right, and this was your plan, you go, how can I get to justify facial recognition? Oh, by the way, we'll come back to about the facial recognition in a minute, mate. We've already got it. They've just not told us. I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Facial recognition, control of your bank, being able to just go in and take, controlling. Somebody was sending me a thing today about controlling. If you've got smart metering in your house, you can turn off your lecky, the drop of a hat. All this forms of control. So if you were the super conniving person that wanted that, and you thought the way I can justify it As if there's civil unrest, I can throw it all in and blame that. You would also, if you were that cunning and devious, you're also intelligent, by the way. You can't forget that.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you would also need to consider, what if we put too much pressure and it blows more than we can cope with? Because that's a possibility. And then you could have almost, the word that might be scary to some folk, but civil war, or
Yeah.
certain heavy civil disobedience that you can't put the lid back on. So I think, if you were that person, you would need to consider that. And I kind of, you'll probably be better learn to consider these things. But if it did go, could we get to a point where, there's army in the streets?
Yeah,
Well,
I think
Sorry,
I think I know what you're saying there. On you go, bud.
It's just a quick one. But do you think,
Right,
I know bad, Alec, you mate,
I'm good.
Just a quick one for the two of you, just on basis of what you were saying there as well, Craig. If they were to lose complete control, do you not think that would be the time for them then implement martial law? Is that maybe what they're looking to put into place as well?
I think that's a scary thought, mate, because
yeah,
a country where you have that and you have, armed forces on the street facing up to civilians of the same country, it kind of never ends well. The countries they take long. I mean, I'm just back from Croatia, mate. That was a country that was ravaged by civil war 20 odd years ago, and then it's took probably the best part of that 20 odd years to get them back to where they are now, and that's normal countries. There's still wee bits in Bob's, Kosovo, Bosnia and stuff like that, but it's taken them that long to get back to where they are. So anyway, on the thing about the cameras, mate, I had a guest on the 20th anniversary of the London bombings, who had survived 2 bombings. She was on a train when the bombs hit, and she eventually got out to go to her work, which is in Russell Square, and she just arrived there in time for the bus to blow up, right?
Yep.
And she was on, and she worked in intelligence, and what she was doing at the time, although it was a long time before the 2012 Olympics, they'd already given the contract to do the stuff for that. And she was telling us quite openly we'd done a live with her, that for that event, there was facial recognition, and it was primarily based around the athletes' village and the areas between that and the actual event venues. And I was like, all right. So, and what she was saying was basically anybody in that area, they could tell within seconds their bank details, their name, address, date of birth, nationality, passport details like that. So that if there was anybody that was known baddie, they would have almost instantly know about it and could deal with it. And I was like, well, see, once the game's finished, they didn't go and take all that equipment out, did they? She was like, no. Like, so it's already there, and it's been there for 13 years in certain areas of your country. And it's...
I watched a guy installing cameras last year in the Highlands. I said, what are they? Give me a really funny look. Unmarked van, no uniform, no identification. I said, I know what they are. And he went, what are they then? And I said, they're facial ANPR. They're not for traffic management. I says, am I right? And he smirked and he never said nothing. And I said, am I right? I said, it's only you and me here, mate. And he went, are you recording me? I went, no. He says, he says, have you heard of 15-minute cities? I says, of course I have. He said, well, this is a test pilot for it. And that's Aviemore. And I said, okay, what does it gather? He said, see, to be honest with you, mate, he went, I don't even know. He went, they're about $9,000 a camera unit. He says, and I don't even really know what they record. He says, but I know that it goes to a database via a signal, some type of telemetry signal, probably fibre optic, to a place in England. So there's cameras in Scotland going to a place in England. I said, so they're not linked to like Amy Highways or the highway agency? He went, no. I says, does that not worry you? And he went, he says, I take the money, mate, and I look the other way. The guy was straight as a die. He says, I take the money and I look the other way. I said, you're not going to have a life, mate. We're not going to know freedom as we know it now. This is part of the plan, and he was like, I see your point. He went, but I make good dough. He went, and he says, to be honest with you, mate, he went, I don't even care about all that shit. He says, I go home and I, open a bottle of beer. So they exist. They definitely exist. Every time you walk through an airport, you're completely and utterly downloaded. You are. Everything's done like that, and that's where it's got to. And they tell you it's about security, and they tell you it's about all the rest of it. It's not about that. It's about monitoring every single citizen in the UK. We're one of the most surveilled countries in the Western world. People don't really understand what surveillance means. It's not just hiding in a bush, watching somebody. It's a forensic download of your entire, physical identity, everything you do, every single cent that you earn. And what will eventually occur is you'll all be data linked to the Inland Revenue and every other agency, so that if you get a parking ticket, it will come off within 3 seconds of you getting it. If you don't pay a bill, it will come off at source. So you won't. They'll take away.
Yes.
You won't have to pay any of your bills. They'll be paid for you automatically from your bank account. And there will be no physical cash. So utility companies, all the major players will be behind all of this. They'll be funding it because then they will get their money. So your neighbour that's struggling with 3 kids, they won't have the hot water on. Everything will be off because they'll turn them off, knowing that they'll go and their mum and dad who are pensioners will give them the money, or their sister or their brother or their mate. They know they'll get the money, or they'll just turn everybody off. That's what a smart meter is. This is, the old cliche, George Orwell, it's Orwellian 1984. It is. This is it. Big Brother is not just a gimmicky show on the television. Big Brother's on your shoulder night and day. So be ready for it, because it's happening.
Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on.
So I'll just before I let Monty talk to you, Alex, just want to particularly ask you about something, right? But I tell you a quick story about me that freaked me out, right? I'd went to Florida 2 years back to back with my girlfriend and her wee boy. So the first year we get there, come off the plane, get to passport control. I go up with the 3 passports, hand them the 3 passports. Guy looks at the passports, asks for them to see Mickey Mouse, stamps the passports and tells them to enjoy Florida. And we're through immigration. The next year, went to do the same. Stood in the queue for ages. It was a busy airport. It was 2 or 3 flights at the same time. Gets to the front of the queue, walks up, gives the guy the 3 passports, and without even looking at passports, he says, do you all live at the same address? No, I live at one address, they 2 live at another address. Well, I'll deal with them first if you don't mind. Go and stand back in a line and let them come first. So I was wondering back, and I was like, a bit weird. Next thing he screams at me, behind the line. And I looked at my toes, I was that over the line, right? So
You've got big feet, to be fair.
It's big when I looked down. And I thought, well, that's a bit weird, right? What's going on here? So he processed A2. A2 were ordered to go forward. And then told me to come. And he grabbed my passport. And see, before he even opened the passport, he went like to me, why were you in Russia for 6 days? Why were you in Moscow for 6 days? And I was there for 4 days. And then, well, that's even weirder. Why would no, he's not looked at my passport. Just before he's opened it, I'd handed him it, and he had it in his hand, and he went, why were you in Moscow for whatever he said? I said, I was there with my work. I worked for Rangers, and they played against Spartak, and I went out as part of my job. But the visa was for like 6 days or something, and we were only there for 4. I can't remember. Anyway. And he's like, but why? It's like, my work. Who do you work for? And I felt weird because I never had to say this before. I work for Rangers Football Club. And he's like, football? You used to play football in Scotland? I went, sorry, you used to call it soccer. It's like, so why did you go to Russia? And I was like, it's a European thing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, what do you think of it? I says, some of the parts were absolutely stunning and some parts were fucking scary, if I'm honest with you, mate. And he went, all right, come on, enjoy America.
They know everything.
But I was like, that. No, see, if you need to do that ESTA before you get into America, right? So they would know your passport details and go, right, he's coming in, they'd see the manifest. But I thought, they've seen us come off that plane, the 3 years, they've managed to have to tell him, it's the next 3 you're getting them. They're no together. Because there could have been, some people try and appear for their family unit and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, fuck me, that was just something completely innocent, right? And obviously there was no one once that spoke to the guy. But it was just like, how much do they know with anybody? And it must have been the facial recognition or CCTV that's flagged up not only where I had been, who I was out of that queue. There must have been 3 plane loads, maybe more, at the same time. So you're talking 1,000 people in this hall waiting to go through passport control. And I was like, fuck me. What a scary concept. So anyway,
listen, I'm going to drop down now.
All right,
and
pal.
let you guys get on with it. But it's good to obviously speak to yourself and Alec. Well, it's good to see Alec coming up.
Cheers, Kev.
Well, hopefully your account keeps getting bigger, Alec.
Cheers, mate.
They deserve it, mate. Know what I mean? The work you do is phenomenal days. So I've no doubt I'll catch up with you at some point. So
see you later, bud.
guys. And I'll see you later on.
Monty,
Hey,
where's my friend?
Hey, I'm back again. I'm sorry, it's twice I've been on tonight, but I wanted to talk to Alex because, mate, everything that you have just said right there is the absolute goddamn truth. Now, look, the 15-minute cities is where you started for, right? Why is that important? Think about it. It keeps you in a box, right? You can't move, right? They're even talking about you have to pay for carbon credits if you want to move outside your 15-minute compound. You're living in a box. You're living in a cage. You don't have freedom. That's what they want to do. The next thing, what did they do? Control the food. Right? They're already doing that in this country already, right? So you starve to death and you live inside your box. I don't want to do this tinfoil hat thing, but everything that you said, I absolutely agree with it. 100%. It's happening.
It's definitely happening. It's in full swing.
Yes. We can see
I'm blessed with a couple of whistleblowers, and I won't name where from, but I will name one person that I speak to who is directly linked to the Home Office, and the stuff they tell me is utterly mind-boggling.
I would agree.
It's mind-boggling, and I mean, I'll tell Craig it, no problem, in person. One day it'll all come out in the wash, and he'll remember I said it to him years prior, because the stuff that's going on would terrify you, Monty, and it's not going to get any better.
I agree with you.
There's no way back from this.
Yeah.
Because people, all these little skirmishes are nothing. People need to resist in their tens of millions, and they won't do it. We can't get 100 people to turn up to a child protection protest. What chance have we got?
Agreed. I mean,
I'm under no illusion that half of what I do publicly is a waste of time. I'm under no illusion, but I keep doing it. Is it because I'm stupid? I'm not stupid. I don't like wasting time, but I know that I have to keep doing it. And every so often you pick up a new listener and a new bit of support, but you've just got to keep beating the drum. So,
absolutely, my friend. Now, I don't think you're in any way, shape, or form stupid. Far from it. I think you're telling the truth. And one of the things that bothers me about this whole, you started from the conversation about 15-minute cities, and the reason why that bothers me is because it literally does put you into a control situation. They get to control what you do, right? Carbon credits, all that nonsense. And listen, you can call me a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist if you like, but this is literally in the press. You can go and look at it if you want. These are proposals that the local councils and governments and whatever are wanting to put into place. It's true. They want to keep you in your box.
But Monty, see, by the time you see it in the press, it was implemented 18 months beforehand.
Correct.
They're only letting you know. It's all smoke and mirrors. They own the press. Murdoch and Maxwell, they've dictated the narrative in this country for decades. And people didn't used to have awareness about conspiracies. Everybody uses the word conspiracy theory and they think it makes you a nutter. All it means is to conspire. It means when an entity is conspiring to hoodwink you. So they've been conspiring against the public for decades. It's what they do.
In my world, my friend, right, I would call that being a skeptic. And being a skeptic is not being a conspiracy theorist. A skeptic is a certain person that looks at this world and goes, no, hold on a minute, I'm not looking at the basic narrative here. I want to see what the undercurrent is.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now.
I agree with you, mate. And it's a sad state of affairs. I spoke with somebody an hour ago and I said, I certainly wouldn't want to be around in this world in 80 or 100 years' time. It would be a horrible place to be. Life as we know it is coming to an end. The freedom that we've enjoyed is definitely coming to an end.
Oh, aye.
So that's why all your little shops are drying up and disappearing. All your traders are gone. Everything small is gone because it's being consumed by global conglomerates, dark entities, corporations that are backed by trillion-dollar enterprises, and they're just going to squeeze everybody out, and there will be nothing left for the small guy, nothing at all.
A 1,000,000%, right? 1,000,000%. I absolutely agree with you. And this is one of the things that I don't understand, right? And it's pretty obvious. If you want a free and prosperous society, what you need is cheap energy. Now, energy, Craig knows that that's my thing, right? So I'm touting my CV for his energy secretary when he becomes, the First Minister of Scotland, right? But the reality is that cheap energy and freedom of movement is what makes people happy. And that's exactly the opposite of what the policies that we can see happening, not just at local level, but all the way up to the UN and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
They're all doing it, right? Even Saudi Arabia are doing it, but that big glass 1 mile city thing that they're building in the middle of the desert? That's the whole point of that, 15-minute cities. And you would think Saudi Arabia would want you to burn the petrol because, they make a lot of money out of it. But hey, they're still virtue signaling and they're still doing it, right? It's nonsense.
Yeah, the Saudis don't need to make money from oil for the next 700 years. They're sitting with 2.5 trillion barrels.
Exactly.
That's why they dictate global money and banks and global politics.
It's crazy.
Oil's the currency. People kind of gloss over it. Oil is the currency, and it always has been, and it always will be.
But
for the next several hundred years.
Oil makes everything. This is the bizarre thing about this, right? This is the bit that bothers me, right? Everybody thinks that people take oil out of the ground and then they burn it in their cars, right? That's not what happens. What they do is they take oil out of the ground and then they crack it. And we get all into these different chemicals, compounds, and then they go and make things like, I don't know, pharmaceuticals, things that keep you alive. Yep. Or say, your rainproof jacket, or, the tires for your car, or the lubricant that you need to keep your car going, or whatever it is. And that includes your electric cars, because they still need lubricant. Your windmills need lubricant. You need the oil. You're going to need to take the oil. Petrol being a byproduct of the cracking of the oil is somehow demonised. But that's another thing that we can talk about later. The point being is they are absolutely demonising this product, and you're like, but wait a minute, we need it. We absolutely need it to survive, right? And you're trying to put us in boxes. We're trying to say we're not allowed to eat beef. We're not allowed to do any of that nonsense. We're supposed to eat insects because it doesn't contribute to your carbon footprint. You're like, what are you talking about carbon footprint? I just want to go and drive up to Stirling for the day and walk about with my dog. But that cost me 30 quid.
I know, mate. It's wild.
Nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. 15-minute cities was the perfect way for you to start with that, because that is the one that gets it. It's absolutely Orwellian. It's absolutely Orwellian, right? It's like literally put you in your box, that's you.
Well, it's happening.
Yes.
Well, guys, it's an interesting subject, but I'm hitting the road, and you'll need to kick me out of here, Craig.
Where are you off to?
Because
You get plans for tomorrow, mate?
I'm around the Livingston area. I'm in Glasgow in the morning, down around your neck of the woods in the morning for a while, and then I'm back over kind of middle of the road neck of the woods.
Okay.
I'm in
I'll give you
Glasgow on Saturday. There's a wee gathering in Argyle Street for the Bonner family. I'm going to just jump up there for an hour.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to maybe jump the motor tomorrow and head to Epping, but I can't, because I've got 2 things to do in Glasgow on Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I've got something I need to sort out as well. I'm supposed to be doing Barbara O'Neill's security on the same day as the Peterhead thing. So I've got a bit of a thing there.
Just need to be schizophrenic, mate.
I need to sort something out. Because I don't want to miss Peterhead, because it's, you know, it never really gets a visit, and it's important.
No, I think it's a good thing to do, mate.
I know.
But you can't do 2 things at the one time, you know, it's impossible.
No, I'll sort it out, but...
But listen, thanks for coming on, mate. I always appreciate you.
All right, mate. You kick me out and I'll listen on YouTube. I don't want to touch my phone because I'm a law-abiding citizen, as you know.
No problem, mate. You take care. Speak soon, mate.
Night, big man. Cheers, Monty. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. See you later, Craig.
Right, Monty. No, don't you be going anywhere, Monty. You've got a job to do. Right, I'll line you up. I'll line you up a belter. Right, listen, folks. Thanks very much for coming in tonight. There's been thousands of people watching us over different platforms. It's been humbling. I've had some donations to help towards. There's another one I think just came in. Towards my my trip that I've got planned up. There's AJ just came in. Thank you very much for that. I think I've had like 100 quid or something on to what you call it? Buy me a coffee. It's just humbling, and as I say, that's every penny of that will go towards my next trip. That'll maybe book me over the weekend. So thanks very, very much. However, unless you're one of the people that want to give us draconian measures and security and tell us it's for our benefit, then not you, but everyone else